Welcome back to the QB Huddle Podcast. We are live on location on this beautiful Super Bowl Sunday. I am joined by XO, Brandon Newhey.
What's up, man?
All right. And Lauren Morales.
Here we go.
This show is being produced by New Era Media. And in the background, we have our super social media producer, Mark Watson, a.k.a. Ninja Media. That's all the videos that you're seeing in shorts and on social media throughout the day. We're here to talk all things Super Bowl, and man, it's Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. We have all the quite array of NFL teams here represented. I'm in the Bears because 40 years ago, I witnessed the Bears, not live, on television, playing the New England Patriots, your team, and beating them 46-10.
Showing your age.
For the Bears' first Super Bowl win ever.
Dirty.
And now we've got Patrick Mahomes. Why are we wearing Patrick Mahomes
Baby
today?
goat. Baby goat. On pace to be baby goat. Yep, there you go, baby goat. Plus, I saw another buddy of mine over here wearing the goat, so I had to,
There you go.
The GOAT. That's right, Mr. Thomas Brady.
Edward.
You know I wore this jersey, right?
No, tell us.
That was the last time Mahomes lost in the Super Bowl was to this man right here, man. Yeah.
Okay. And out of nowhere, we have a
left
Jet
field.
Sam Darnold jersey.
Okay, look.
Talk about a retread.
I don't have a dog in this fight, all right? But big news coming out of New York, Aaron Rodgers will probably not be returning. And seeing as Sam Darnold is the biggest free agent of any free agent this offseason, I thought I'd go ahead and hold it down for number 14.
So you want Sam Darnold to go back to the New York Jets.
More than anything, I just want Sam Darnold to have a starting spot. I want him to go somewhere. And I think that might be a pretty good reunion with a better regime in New York. It makes sense. Go back home.
J-E-T-S, Jets,
Oh,
Jets,
gosh,
Jets.
gosh, stop
Let's
it,
do
stop
So you don't want him back in Minnesota?
I do not want him back in Minnesota. I want that comp pick. Way to go, kid. You did great. It's time for J.J. McCarthy, the J.J. McCarthy.
Well, since you brought it up, before we get into our pregame show, which will be here live at Chop Sports in McKinney from 2 to 4, come on down, get some special menu items, get you some drink specials, get you some shots. But man, what is the plan? What's the destination for Aaron Rodgers at this point? Anybody start? I mean, I don't know
I can
where
jump
it's
in
going.
on this one. Aaron Rodgers is going to go somewhere that is win now, right? Where can they help a quarterback? Now, what team out there do you feel, I'm asking the panel here, is a win now team that just didn't have a quarterback, right? I can think of a couple. We obviously know, in my opinion, the Raiders. I think they still have a solid roster. They needed some help at receiver, but nothing a draft can't fix.
The Raiders are not in a win now division.
That's
point.
100% correct.
Good point.
All
The
three
division.
teams. All three made the playoffs.
Does Rodgers take Brett Favre's?
Sorry.
A book from Brett
better
Favre
get
to
it.
go
You
to
better
Minnesota.
stop.
There's no room for him.
I
in
mean, you
Minnesota.
got
There's
the
always
weapon.
room
You
for the
better
Super
stop.
Bowl.
He's playing in a dome.
No.
No.
Who?
You don't have to worry about the cold weather outside of
No.
going to Green Bay.
McCarthy's-
He gets to go back.
You got to worry about the direction of the team, and it is not with that ancient soul.
But McCarthy showed injury issues. McCarthy showed injury issues first year already.
Yeah.
So it would not be bad to get a veteran to kind of lead. Maybe some competition. Who knows?
Interesting.
I like our veteran that we have there already. I think we bring back Daniel Jones. I think it's a perfect match.
Okay, yeah.
That's
there-
right. They do have Daniel
That's
Jones.
right, they do.
do.
How about the Saints? You got
I mean,
Carr.
you
He's
have
aging.
Derek
He's
Carr.
on the
You're not
back
gonna-
end of
you're
his
not gonna get rid of
contract,
Derek
though.
Carr for Aaron
So
Rodgers.
you think a team has to make a move in order to bring Rodgers? Because if that's the case, he's going to be sitting on the couch.
If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I retire. I go to the
you
cave.
might have to hang
and
it
I
up,
do
big dog.
ayahuasca for the
you
rest
go out
of my
in the
life.
sunset, man.
Great career.
Yeah, hang it up. Hey, guys, we were here a couple weeks ago for the title games. Man, I'm going to start with you, Lauren. How did you feel doing our first live broadcast live here at Chop Sports? They welcomed us with open arms. Tell us about your experience doing that show for the first time.
Yeah, man. I mean, first of all, shout out to Shop Sports, right? So appreciate them. It's great. Thanks for having us 2 weeks ago. And really all week long. I don't know about y'all. I've been looking forward to it again. The setup was nice, and it's the Super Bowl. Like, we get to hang out for the Super Bowl, talk. Same way we see guys on TV. We have our location now, you know. It's only time, too, but there should be more to come. It was just really fun experience being on site, you know, and getting to interact with the crowd, see who all came out. For me, it was just one of those things as a kid, we all dream of playing in this big game, but as we all have retired
get to
from
call.
football
It's
or
kinda
pretty
cool.
close to it,
Yeah.
this is what we want to be doing. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and looking forward to doing it again today.
Great, man. I think Chop Sports was very gracious to us, man. Just networking. Appreciate Tim, the manager, and also Jason for putting this thing together. It's a great opportunity to just talk a lot, especially with your buddies you see in and day out, and you're texting this stuff. So really passionate about it. The AGA Golf Club, they showed us mad love by coming. Next door neighbor, wife and kid was here. It was a cool event, man. Good vibes all around.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, Stephen. Go ahead.
No, I want to say, shout out to the QB Huddle for having me out. It was an experience. It was a little bit of an environment. At first I was like, I don't know what's going on in here. And then all of a sudden it started to turn up towards the middle of that thing, man. Like, people were taking shots. People were having a good time. Chop Sports really, really showed out. So, man, it was nice to have it here.
Yeah, we had a blast. I got to tell you, as a guy that has watched football my whole life and really love watching pregame shows, and Super Bowl Sunday is for me a holiday. To sit here, be able to do a pregame show with you guys is a little bit of a fantasy come true, right? And so, man, I couldn't be more thankful to you all for being a part of this, and to Chop Sports for having us out. So we're here again from 2 to 4. Coming out and join us. We've got a little bit of a crowd here. We're going to get to them in a little bit and see who's rooting for who, if they're rooting for anyone. We don't know. So let's get to last week. We're going to recap a little bit of last week's game, starting with the AFC title game. And, Stephen, I felt like the Bills were a little conservative in that game. I felt throughout the playoffs, really, that they played not to lose. And on top of that, I felt they ran about 20 quarterback sneaks, and I feel like that was a detriment to them. And because they never opened it up, I felt that was what really caused them to lose, in my opinion. What did you see during the game last week, and what stood out to you as far as why the Bills weren't able to get it done?
I mean, in all honesty, butts was tight. It was some tight butts, man. I mean, that's a simple way to put it. And you saw it. I mean, you saw it late game when it was the body language. You know what I mean? I'm a body language guy, man, because I'm the rah-rah guy. I'm going to come find you. If you don't look like you in the game, I'm going to come find you. And I'm looking at body language. And on the sideline, man, when Josh Allen would come and sit down, I saw that nerve. You know what I mean? The only person I didn't really see it from, James Cook was ready to play. They took the ball away from him. You know what I mean? He was ready to play. I saw it in his eyes. I don't know. Butts got tight on that Bills sideline. I think it actually cost Joe Brady a job.
Interesting. That's a good take. I'm with you on. I saw deer in headlights.
Yeah.
A lot of way across there, and it was a game that we wanted as fans. But when it came down to that last drive where you want Josh Allen to do a Mahomes type finish, when you now have the opportunity and you have the keys, it didn't all come together. And I'm not going to put it all on Josh. We had a long talk about, right, not always on the quarterback, but you're all they got, man. It's been shown all year. 80% of touchdowns lead through him. Sure, you got your running mate in Cook, but I think the game dictated him not being able to get in as much. You know what I mean? They were shutting it down. You're in long situations. And then let's just talk about the last play.
My goodness.
Do you see the hot? Do you look over and see that this corner's coming at you? I don't know. Not going to speak for Josh.
Outside backer was pushed inside. You have the lane if they bail.
But where's Mr. Brady, Joe, on his, that's what you call? And even then, Josh Allen still got the ball where it was supposed to go. It was a duck, but it got where it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And another tight end,
He ran into
dropped the ball.
pressure. You realize that, right? He ran into
He did, but let's bring
Agreed.
it up. This is a big reason why the Chiefs are in this game. And for those of you that were watching the game and don't understand maybe the ins and outs and what the quarterback is looking at, this is why the Chiefs are here. They hadn't showed pressure a lot out of that look all night. In fact, they hadn't showed pressure out of that look the entire game. When he brought Shakir in motion and sent him back out, nobody on the Chiefs moved. Nobody kind of tipped off their hand that they were coming with a blitz. So to Josh Allen's eye, there is no blitz coming. He's protected. He knows where he's going with the football. As soon as he snaps the ball, a guy comes completely untouched. Why? Because the O-line didn't make an adjustment because they didn't know the blitz was coming. Now that surprises him. Now what should he have done? Is he should have went right to the left and hit Shakir and let him try to get those 5 yards, whatever
Absolutely.
it was.
He was wide open.
Instead, he kind of panicked a little bit, and he throws it deep. The ball should have been caught, right? It could have been caught. We've seen receivers catch those balls for Brady and for Manning and for Montana, right? The ball should have and could have been caught. It wasn't. Shouldn't have come down to that play. But, again, very conservative game plan. And you're right, Stephen. They took James Cook out of the game plan themselves at some point in that game. And the quarterback sneaks again just bothered me, especially running off the same left side. Romo talked about it in the first quarter. The Chiefs were ready for that, and they never adjusted the Bills. They never made that adjustment. Brandon, throughout that game, I felt a lack of adjustments really cost the Bills. What did you think?
It was, man. But, again, you're going to the Mahomes Invitational. He's been here 7 straight times, right? I mean, Josh was going into that game 0-3, and now he's 0-4. That game, that was a big moment for both quarterbacks. You know, one, unfortunately, Josh couldn't get over the hump. He battled. I mean, but again, it comes down to in-game situations and adjustments. Why are you getting away from the run when Cook had 85 yards? I mean, you got to find a way to keep Mahomes off the field. That is the biggest thing. Running the quarterback sneak over and over again, you got to mix it up a little bit. Chiefs saw what's coming. They bring edge pressure off the corner, and you got to make the play, man. It's an empty formation, so in empty, you always expect as a quarterback, there's something coming.
Somewhere.
I'm protected from somewhere. And where is that? Right? They brought it from the boundary side. You've got to make that adjustment. That linebacker, I saw it, especially RG3 broke it down great. But when you see the all-22, you see that linebacker squeeze in, you have got to take the fat chick in the flats. It's not a 15-yard throw.
Well,
it was a moment that it got
you motioned him for no reason now.
Right.
The motion showed you nothing.
Right.
Cool. They're coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
It didn't give you the light up. He's coming.
Exactly.
Right. But even then, who's your guy? I don't think it's Kincaid or not. It's been here all day, all year long.
My issue was you drift into sacks, and I hate that, and I'm seeing that time and time again, especially watching the all-22. Go back and watch it versus the Lions. I mean, they're playing man the whole game, but he's just literally drifting into sacks, and he favors his right quite a bit.
Repetition becomes comfortability.
Yeah.
My issue is black and white. You know what I mean? It's black and white because we didn't have this information when we last spoke, y'all. But I did not see an MVP performance.
Oh, it's on my list. You beat me to it. Hey, the MVP couldn't make it.
Are you kidding me?
We didn't have this information, but I just didn't see an MVP performance in the biggest game of your life. I want to see an MVP performance. I don't care what anybody else did in the other games against them. I'm just talking about you, Josh Allen. Show me MVP. I didn't see it. It's pretty simple. I mean,
I love that take, Stephen. We're going to dive into that, especially during this MVP conversation, and definitely a segment coming up soon because I got something to say about that.
Well, we've all got something to say about that. I got to tell you, Stephen, first off, if you're going to say that and you're going to, in the same breath, say Lamar was snubbed, are you going to tell me that you saw?
No.
Well, now, let me finish. Are you going to tell me you saw a Lamar MVP performance against the Bills when they lost the week prior? If we're being fair, the MVP of the league should have been Saquon Barkley, and it wasn't. But it's a media-driven quarterback award now. That's just what it is.
I can't argue that because Saquon was balling.
I can't either. But I don't want to talk about a snub. I only want to talk about who won, and the person who won did not show me MVP.
But it was based off the
biggest game
regular
of his
season.
life.
Those votes had already been casted.
I agree.
This is based off the regular season.
I agree.
And it's not a statistical award. It's a most valuable award. Those are two different things.
Then on that Sunday, I needed you to be the most
Yeah,
valuable.
I'm
Well,
with
they
you.
tried to.
I'm with you.
They kind of took it out of his hands by doing 30 quarterback sneaks on the
They've
same
done
side of the
that
football.
quite a bit in the first and second half of their season. He would just disappear.
It was trash.
It's like, what's going on? And then he put up a huge
Monster
statistical game.
I think
and
the game,
another one, and
monster
then he
game.
disappeared
I
again.
think the game plan had a lot to do with what we saw out of Josh Allen. I think the game plan was extremely poor, and I said that going into that game, and I said that after the first playoff game. Even when they beat the Ravens, I didn't like the game plan. They never let the horse out of the barn, so to speak, with Josh Allen, and I did not appreciate that at all.
We got live chat in here right now, and,
Well, what do we got? Go into it.
RC said Bills were overthinking it on offense. I
100%.
100% agree.
100%.
with that.
So I'm
RC.
not going to say overthinking. I think they planned in too
Everybody
many different
underthinking.
directions. Yeah, they planned in too many different directions and didn't choose what they wanted to do.
It's like they
They
were
left
playing
it-
to not lose.
Yes,
And
you were just
can't
leaving
do
it
that.
into Mahomes' hands.
That's it.
You can't do that
Yeah,
with
they
this
did
guy.
that the whole
Mahomes
offseason.
did not even have to use any magic. He has his whole bag full of tricks still. And Josh Allen, in my opinion, I agree with you. I don't think it was the game, but the Ravens that was his Super Bowl. The hype over who was MVP. He's at home right now chilling. He's okay.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay.
He's got the MVP
Now,
from
easy.
not being a
Easy.
from being
Is he?
Do what?
Is he okay?
I think he's
He's
okay.
okay.
I
I'm
think
gonna
he's
tell
okay.
you why he's not okay.
I think he's okay.
Because
you
there's
talked
only,
to him last
listen,
night?
I'm gonna tell you why he's
Alright.
not okay. Because unlike Cam Newton, who says the MVP is more important than the Super Bowl, no quarterback actually feels that way. If unless you're just about yourself. Come on, we're all quarterbacks here
Never
outside of
thought of it
Stephen.
that way. Yeah, but
You never
obviously
wanted a
it's a team.
personal award over that team. The MVP is hollow if you don't win shit. To me, I bet you he's not okay. He's sick he's not in this game today because the MVP is great, but what did it get you? You're on the couch
My
with every
bad.
other quarterback.
So maybe tomorrow.
gave you an
He'll be okay
opportunity.
Tomorrow he'll be
tomorrow
fine.
because the Super Bowl is done.
Right? Let's not devalue the MVP. Let's not.
Well,
do
I
that.
think that's been
Let-
devalued for a few years.
How?
I
Why?
think
Because
this
Lamar's
pick-
won multiple.
Well, see,
No,
I think this
that's
one
not
actually
why.
brought
Aaron
the value
Rodgers?
back.
It's devalued because it's
How?
become a quarterback-centric award. We're not looking at
What in the NFL isn't quarterbacks?
I mean, Marshall
we
Falk
get
won
away from
MVP, LaDainian won MVP.
As a quarterback, you're saying that.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm with Lauren. It brought value back this year.
It did.
And I understand where you're coming from. When you talk about Saquon Barkley, him being the MVP, man, I feel that.
Right.
But
If you let him play,
that defense played out of their mind all
defense has been
season
great
long.
all
Period.
season.
Number
All
one
season.
defense
Got
for
you.
years.
for years.
All
That's
season.
major going
so
into
I
this
can't
game.
give that all to Saquon because that was a part of their game plan. We're gonna run the football. We're gonna play very good
I
defense.
didn't say give it all to him, but
But in the case of the Bills, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of hard to give Lamar that when Derrick Henry was tops.
100%.
If it wasn't for a Saquon Barkley year, Derrick Henry had a historical year this year for the Ravens. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of more value back. It says, who's the most important player? That was Josh Allen. Makes sense.
All right.
That's right. He's most important to his team.
Listen, he earned it.
And
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
listen,
earned it.
It
if,
hurts to
He
say.
earned
if
it.
we go back and
He did his
if
thing.
we go back and we look at the preseason conversations, not just at this table, but all of the networks, ESPN, First Take, any of them, what was the conversation? The Bills won't make the playoffs. The Bills don't have a roster. The Bills lost Stefon Diggs. The Bills don't have this. The Bills don't have that. And yet still, somehow, some way, Josh Allen willed that team to not only a playoff berth, but the number 2 seed. I think that's why they won the MVP. That's why he wins
It's
the
an
MVP.
incredible story. Obviously, he did more with less. We understand that, but man, it's just
I'm not even
hard
saying he
to
did more with less,
devalue
'cause
Lamar's
Lamar was great.
amazing. He had the best touchdown to interception ratio of
That's
all
great,
time.
and that's why he's
41
first
and 4?
team All Pro.
Yeah,
that's
So
why
how do you not
That's
win
why
the
he's
first
first team All Pro. First
How
Ask
do you not win
McNair
that?
and ask Elway.
because
It's
they
happened
are-
before.
The only
They're
one to do it
different
was Peyton
awards.
Manning, you know,
They're
they-
They have
different
to be considered
awards.
two different awards. Yeah, they have to be two different awards.
They
They
are.
are.
I mean, because if that wasn't the case, then you should say who had the most stats and call it something like that, and then that's how you give the trophy to.
We have a best quarterback award.
We do. We have quarterback of the year.
They do.
Maybe
QB
he
of the
won.
year.
I mean, did he win that? Who was quarterback of the year?
That's when is
I
that?
don't-
Or is
no,
those
that
It was
SPs?
either
comeback.
Joe
He was
or
a
Lamar.
comeback
Think
player.
of,
Comeback player.
are
He
there
was
those
comeback
SPs,
player of the year.
SPs too? There's plenty of
Maybe it's
awards to
SPs.
go
Plenty
around.
of
No.
awards.
But when you're talking about
No.
the MVP of football,
Not for that.
you're talking about the most valuable player to that team. If Lamar, and we argue about this off camera, right? But you take Lamar out of the Ravens offense, and I still think they make the playoffs.
Hey, let me back that up. Let me back
No.
that up.
But they won playoff
They-
games
they-
without Lamar.
Let me
But
back
he
that
got
up.
him to the playoffs,
But let me, no,
and
no,
then
no.
he got hurt.
Tyler Huntley got them
They
to
had-
the
they
last
had-
quarter.
They
of the-
already
They had
sold it up.
ideally, they had
Without
ideally the
Derrick
best
Henry.
match at backup quarterback you can find
Yeah.
for that team.
Look, all you need at the Ravens, if you have Derrick Henry, is you need a quarterback that can hand the ball off, run some RPO stuff, keep defenses off kilter just a little bit, and you will be successful. You will win enough games to keep your head above water.
think they
You
would've
can't
had a
replace the
postseason game.
Lamar Jackson, but you can win enough games.
I don't think you can win enough games this season.
Without Josh Allen, the
Well, there was
Bills
some
end up
teams that didn't
last
make it.
place.
There was,
well,
and in the
well, you
AFC,
said-
so I will give you that. I
you
will
said
give you that.
something-
in the AFC.
Tim, you said something just a second ago. You said, remember at the beginning of the season, everybody said the Buffalo Bills were going to be nothing, right?
Nothing.
Well, what did we say about midseason? By midseason, everybody was saying this could easily be the number 1 seed.
Super Bowl.
But why?
Super Bowl.
Why did we say
Super
that?
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Because of the MVP.
Who was having the best season of his career?
The MVP.
But-
Who
but-
wasn't turning the ball over?
The MVP.
Who's making splash plays week in and week out?
Josh Allen was doing that.
You know what I am upset
Take-
about?
take
You know what I am
the-
upset
take the Lamar
about with the
jersey off for a
MVP?
second.
You know what I am upset about? Your guy, Lamar Jackson, this season will get clouded and people will forget about his numbers and stats. And they will only see it when they Google it and look up all time, whatever, all time. And it's going to be clouded. We talked about it earlier. There's a few basketball MVPs that have been the same way. There's a few, no one remembers all Nash. Well, Kobe had averaged almost 30 a game.
Nobody remembers
come on.
first team All-Pro.
So, no.
You don't.
Like, once again, we're talking about stats, but it's not a stat award. Proof in the pudding is that Lamar, in the years he's won the MVP, was not close to the number one statistical quarterback in the NFL when he won those MVPs.
I mean, we're also going to.
He just wasn't.
Let's ask Mahomes.
So
I mean, we're
Super
just
Bowl
gonna
or
devalue-
MVP award?
Yeah, we're just going to devalue Joe Burrow's year.
it's,
that's how
no one's devaluing
That
it.
did it to itself.
We're trying to
away.
explain what the MVP award
because
means.
just because you were the most valuable to your team, but your value wasn't very high because your team wasn't a playoff team.
They almost had it.
So
They needed a couple.
if they made a wild
They
card
needed a-
playoff
Do I
by
need to say it?
Cincinnati, Joe Burrow wins MVP.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Sure, but
Yep.
listen, 'cause
But
they
they
started terrible.
Right.
Listen,
Right.
there were some good quarterbacks.
Agreed. Agreed.
There was
Those four guys.
There was
We can
another
attest to
game
that,
that
right?
went on last week, right? Obviously, there was the NFC game, and I got to say, not only was I surprised at the dominance of the Eagles, Lauren, I'm gonna come to you because it was their offense was unstoppable almost. The defense was incredible, but what really stood out to me was how overwhelmed the Washington Commanders looked. Jaden, to me, for the first time all season, showed that he was a rookie, right? He thought he was seeing stuff that wasn't there. He panicked a few times, and then that defense just fell apart. Man, what did you see in this Eagles games, and how were they so dominant in this game?
So you established the run game. He didn't go for 200, right? We know that. He didn't need to go for all that, but he did go for 3 TDs. Saquon Barkley had 3 touchdowns. He had over 100 yards rushing, right? More importantly, Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdowns on the ground as well. That's a lot of touchdowns on the
And
ground.
a 60-yard run
And
in the first quarter.
so here's what we're looking at. Jalen Hurts, more importantly, showed that he was a quarterback. 10.
In what way did he show
20
us
for
that?
28, almost 250 and a touchdown with no pick.
Okay.
That right there is a quarterback.
He ran the RPO
Efficiency.
very efficiently that day.
Okay, we'll give him that. We'll give him that. But if I'm a receiver and coming to an RPO
My
system,
man hates this.
I might not want to play with him. But if I'm
Well,
A.J. Brown,
Why do you think A.J. Brown be reading books on the sideline?
well, he had-
Brown barely wants to play with
A.J.
him.
Brown
That's
had
what I'm
6
saying.
receptions, almost
Disrespect.
100 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
Disrespect.
the offense is clicking. They put up 55 points. Sure, is it boring? Is it old-fashioned? Yes. But today we have a tale of 2 tapes. You have some old-school ground-and-pound football that's going to happen, and then you have some magic.
Could it have been that Dan Quinn once again choked in a big game?
Hey, we'll leave that to
no.
Cowboys
that was
fans.
Kyle
Let's
Shanahan.
put that to a Cowboys fans vote, or I mean, you're the best one to tell us on that one.
Speak from your experience.
Rookie of the
it-
year.
It looked like
Yeah.
a joke to me. That defense looked completely unprepared for what they were seeing. They couldn't stop anything. The Eagles weren't doing anything out of the ordinary. I mean, for Saquon to get what was that his first carry where he broke off for that
Yeah,
long
very first
touchdown
time.
run? And that showed me right there you're not ready to play this game, defense. You're not ready to play. And XO, when you're not ready to play and you got punched in the mouth that early, you're not supposed to be in that game, right? Washington wasn't.
No.
What's the mentality moving forward from there for them?
I mean, I think it all started, we spoke about it the other day when we were here. As soon as that news came out that Deron Payne wasn't playing this game, it was a major undertaking for the Commanders right then and there.
Yeah.
Because if you can't stop Saquon or slow down that run, you're just not going to win that game. But, one thing I love about Jaden Daniels, he was at the Super Bowl this weekend, of course, doing his rounds, promoting his product. And he says after the first turnover, he got worried about not making another turnover versus being aggressive. But it's that acknowledging. I mean, it's only a couple of weeks out. It didn't take him to get to this summer. It was a couple of weeks out, and he acknowledged, hey, I was trying to not turn the ball over. And he already knows that he did that. And you kind of saw it, man. He was deer in the headlights, too. We saw a little bit of that Josh Allen, but that happened early. It was first quarter. I
Where
was
was
like,
the smiles?
I
Where
ain't know-
was
yeah,
the
it was
Jaden
on.
Daniels smiles? And
Eyes was
No
big.
smile.
Reality set
No
in.
smile.
Eyes was big.
Reality set in.
Been there before, things like that. Another thing on Jaden, I do like the way he responded afterwards, real quick. He had an interview and he was in a gym, I believe, a workout, and they were like, are you already getting back? And he was like, man, I'm back in the gym. I'm ready to get going on the field again. And he kind of paused. You saw him look off screen. Clearly, his PR people were there because he quickly was like, we take some time in the off season, to enjoy, no football. And I was like, this dude is hungry.
Yeah.
Second, everyone knows year 2 for QBs is tough.
That's a tough
So
one.
we'll see how he bounces back, what type of virtual they get going on for him. But more importantly, I'm with you on back to Dan Quinn. What are you going to do to retool that offense? Myles Garrett, there's talks.
There's new act.
There's talks of he's been wanting Micah. What happens?
There's
you know what I mean?
There's
What
a lot they
happens?
have to overcome because, look, this team has top 3 money going into the offseason. The kicker is they only have 36 players on the team right now. That's a lot of people to sign.
Lost a huge playoff game. You lost that divisional champion or that conference championship. Where do you go from here? And we'll start with Washington. They seem to have had a lot of pieces. The staff certainly seems like it's in place. They need to be better at stopping the run. They were 29th against the run a year ago, or last year. But XO, we'll start with you. What does Washington have to do to return to the playoffs next year and make another run?
What people don't understand, first off, I love the offseason. It's like awkwardly my favorite part of football. But when you only have 36 players on your roster, you have a lot of opportunities to get it wrong. And it's not a huge free agency. There's not a lot of big names. There's a lot of guys that can get on your team and they can be around. They can be serviceable. But you're going to have to make a lot of right decisions. And I don't know if you can do that only being around for a year. You know what I mean? When you have everything built up because you've been there for a while, you know how you want your team to look. Right now they're still trying to develop that, and then they got to bring in 40 new pieces. That's difficult.
Every piece adds a new problem
They
or
don't have
equation.
a high draft
yeah.
pick either.
It's difficult, and you played so good.
Yeah.
You now don't have a high draft pick. And if you want to play, if you want to work around your young quarterback, you got to do some pretty big swings out the gate. So you're gonna have to try to overspend for a guy like T. Higgins.
About it, despite the money, you got to go get Myles Garrett. Might have to, because
He's
that
the
hurts
best.
you.
He's the best free agent out
Yeah,
there. I
that
know you
hurts you.
think Sam Darnold is, but you get
Yeah.
Myles Garrett, man.
If he's available, and you can throw out 2 first-round draft picks, then you do it, because one of them's late, and if Myles Garrett is there, the other one's gonna be late.
Yeah.
This is true.
So trade them both. You know what I mean? I don't dislike that at all.
Is there any other team that Myles Garrett would like change everything to? Like you turn your whole thing around just by getting him.
He loves the Cowboys.
He does love the Cowboys.
He
Miles
loves the
and Micah.
Cowboys.
Miles and Micah. He's home.
If
He's
you
home.
if you
love
put
for
Michael
Miles
will
and
take
Micah,
a
love for
Michael
that
will
to
take a
happen.
team-friendly deal.
you put Miles
know
and
he
Micah
He's
together,
already said that he would.
That would be awesome. That'd be so good.
Does
The-
it change everything?
it changes the NFL. The NFL's in trouble, and I don't want to say that.
So the Eagles,
You know how I feel. I
who
don't
were
wanna
in the
say
Super
that.
Bowl, Eagles who were in the Super Bowl.
Jalen Hurts is in trouble. They
No
have to
doubt.
replace offensive linemen this year. You put Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons together, that's problems.
Big problem.
What
I
about the
love
Bills?
it. Say it again.
Here you
Say
go.
it
Now
again.
you're gonna
Say
get
it
Tim and his
again.
Fields, man.
Let's
Next
go,
year is our
Cowboys!
year.
We're going to
Next year
Super
is our
Bowl.
year. It's our year.
It's already starting, and this one's not even over yet.
Yeah,
Listen,
it's not even,
What do the Bills?
That's the power of the Cowboys.
What do the Bills have to do? I think for the Bills, a couple things. Number one, let's get a top-notch wide receiver, right? Let's get a target that we can rely on. Number two, let's shore up the secondary a little bit if we're Buffalo. We know every year that we're going to go against teams that throw the ball all around the yard. Let's shore up the secondary a little bit, and let's get another pass rusher. I hate to say this,
going to say that. Yeah,
but Von Miller is about 140 in football years.
We saw it.
He looked like Listen, there was a few plays last weekend where he looked like the uncle on Thanksgiving Day that's out there playing with the kids.
I would say he earned his
And
paycheck, though.
No, I love Von Miller. I do. But it's time for him to take a step back, and
That contract's terrible.
you need a pass rusher in
Without
Buffalo.
that one play, he didn't earn his money.
And
so.
you need somebody, anybody, to guard Travis Kelce. Just sign somebody that you know that when you play the Chiefs, your job is going to be to make sure Kelce doesn't catch the ball and run all over you. Because Kelce had a huge game last week. Looked like back to vintage Kelce. So to me, you got to get some of that, and you have to make sure your defense is built to beat the Chiefs. Point blank, period. Brandon, what do the Bills have to do?
Oh, deep breath, huh?
It's a
They
Josh
got-
Allen Bills thing.
It is, man, because they built this team around Josh. Defensively, they've always been good since Josh has been there. I think you just go get another running back, try to firm up the O-line.
Another one?
Again, another one. You need two of them. You need two of them
have to.
nowadays.
Really, I agree. I
You
think
need
they have
to.
3 maybe in there.
I mean, that's fine, but we need to put them. We need to put more emphasis on that. Like, protect him. He doesn't have to run all these sneaks all the time. He's got 12 rushing touchdowns, and literally 10 of them have been at the goal line.
While we're on it, the
Come
sneaks,
on, let's protect
the
our
QB
guys.
sneaks, though, man. We gotta stop.
get it.
Can we stop with
Mahomes
that?
had
Can we
11
stop with it?
rushes. No, I'm
But
saying
I get
this.
it,
We
though.
need to
But
get
if
used
you have
to
a
it.
cowbell who can just get that and he
not
runs
when the other
off.
team's ready for you.
We need
simple.
to get used to these quarterback sneaks. Jalen and Mahomes last week, two
Look,
people that are in the Super Bowl,
Josh is
they
a
rushed more than 10
F250,
times.
bro. He's a F-250 pickup truck, and every time you get short yardage, you want to run that. Period. 4x4, put it in overdrive, and he's gone. Period.
But you're not saying the same thing for Mr. Jalen. Is it because he's got a push from Saquon? What's the difference? There's no push. I have an issue.
Linemen
dude,
in the
man.
backfield to
Like,
push.
I just have an issue.
6'5",
I mean,
250.
Let's be real.
Every quarterback isn't squatting 500 pounds either.
He's squatting like 6.
and they
6
have
plus.
absolutely.
Jalen put it up 5.
They have
Yeah.
2 mammoths at guard.
And they put a lineman in the backfield to push Jalen
they
from
got
behind.
they got 2
6'5"
mammoths.
guard.
That's why they were
insane.
able to
6'7" guard.
they were able to move on from Kelce
Come on.
Yeah.
and say, all right, we'll bring in Juergens.
Sure.
And like I said last week, Juergens didn't even really play.
Cover him up.
I mean, they were spinning them around because they have the offensive line interior.
Right.
I mean, the Bills have really good tackles. Their tackles are decent. The interior is not as good. The biggest thing the Bills need to do is give me somebody who can stretch the field. It's time for Josh Allen to have that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Their only version of that was
They
since
had it.
Josh Allen was Gabe Davis.
They would have had it.
Was Gabe,
They would have
yeah.
had it, and they traded the pick away to the Chiefs.
Right.
Give me a break,
Come on,
man.
man. Come on, man. Like their speed
The
demon
Chiefs had him in the
over the
offseason,
years
too.
was
Man.
Gabe Davis. And then this year it was the corpse of Curtis Samuel. And I don't know if y'all recognize a few
My man
games.
said the corpse.
Hey, it could have been. It
few
could
of
have
those
been worthy.
games-
It could have been worthy. Apparently.
A few of those
Supposed to
games,
have been.
you see when Curtis Samuel will get loose, it changes the dynamic of that offense.
Right.
And I think they need that element in that offense.
like 6 times a year. He didn't do too much. You saw flashes.
you saw flashes, but
he-
they
he
need that
reverted
dynamic in that
What
offense.
does the chat think? Anybody in the chat have any opinions about what the Bills
My
should
man
do?
said, fire everybody except McDermott.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Oh,
So
Joe
Josh
Brady's too
Allen
good.
Well, no, that's
Nah,
coaching
Joe
wise.
Brady's
Joe
good.
Brady's
Oh,
Coaching
coaching wise.
Joe can
Joe's
stay.
good,
but
man.
Joe's got to be a little creative.
We forget
I
he's
wanna
still
see
young.
some creativeness.
I think that
Still young.
I think that whole coaching staff, and I think the Bills learned a valuable lesson this year of experience. They've been in deep games, they've been in playoff games, but have you done this enough yet with Mahomes and the Chiefs? And I think they have now, and they realize what you said. Sometimes you got to have a couple aces in the hole that you only save for the Chiefs in the playoffs.
The Chiefs are aggressive when
Something.
they need to be. And that's something that the Bills
Are
fail
they?
to do.
Is that a game plan though, or is it because you got a
That's
deep,
just adjustments,
you got a
man.
guy
That's
over
just
there?
the feel
yeah.
of your players and understanding
knows,
of it.
let's
The
go.
leaders in the locker room, they know, like when it's time to turn it on, and they reverted away from it. You got to embrace that moment, man.
T.
Keep
Higgins-
the
T. Higgins
foot
is
on the
available?
Gas.
Does he go to the Bills?
I would love to see.
They need
Josh
a wide
needs
receiver
somebody
one.
to stretch
They
the
need a
field,
wide receiver
period.
one.
And continue
You know?
to allow
Well,
Coleman to develop.
Coleman needs to still develop.
He still needs to develop.
There's an unspoken thing that happens in the NFL where it's a very close-knit community. He ain't going to the Bills.
No.
You know what I mean? Once they got wind of him going to the Bills, the Bengals are gonna know what he's being offered, and he ain't going to the Bills.
No.
You won't see him in no contender like that.
I don't think
in the
he's
AFC.
leaving Cincinnati.
You don't think he's leaving?
There would have to be a
No.
lot of
Joe did say he's
restructuring.
willing to
Joe wants
restructure his
Joe said it the other day that him and Higgins and Chase were going to do everything they could to stay together.
I think the
I
ship-
expect them to stay together.
Possible.
The ship's already sailed.
It's
you
too much.
just,
It's too much
you
out there,
should've
man.
paid-
Joe
you're
needs an
gonna do-
O-line and D-line.
So you're going to do all this movement around and stuff like that for T. Higgins when
needs
last
trenches.
offseason you didn't do anything for Jamar. You told him wait.
Well, are you gonna put? Is 40% of your roster gonna be in 3 players?
If they plan to do the Peyton Manning,
Well,
Marvin
the cap
Harrison,
keeps
way it's
raising.
looking.
That's what they say.
If the cap
The
raises,
cap keeps raising.
If the cap keeps raising, even still, 40% of your roster salary will be in 3 players.
yeah,
Because you're gonna have to pay 2 of them 30 plus, and you're already
One's
paying,
already paid
You're already
55.
paying 50 plus.
Hey, my producer is telling me to make sure your mic is close to the mouth
Oh
so
yeah,
they can hear
my
you.
bad. Yeah, I got carried away. I got
My
a little
producer is
excited.
telling me that.
he,
You know.
he just likes the T. Higgins trade.
So-
It's the
still.
T. Higgins. Yeah, get up out. I want to see him out of there.
They
man.
want to hear. They want to hear the sexiness that is the voice of
Okay,
XO.
You're right. It's a lot more soothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get them ready. Get them ready. Do we have any KC fans in the house? Anyone? Anyone here
Any
for the
Kansas
Chiefs?
City fans?
Oh,
That's
no,
shocking.
None of that. Okay.
is very
Any
shocking.
Eagles fans
It's
in the house?
it's
Stand
quiet
up.
before the storm.
Ooh, oh, we got some Eagle haters.
Eagle
we
hater.
like that.
There's
Do
a
we have
Green
anything-
Bay fan.
Oh, we have a Green Bay Packers sweatshirt in the house.
Yeah.
What in the?
Yuck.
Wow, Green Bay Packers.
Broke
What
your
are
heart,
they going to
didn't he?
do?
Yeah.
Is Jordan
your
Love
heart
the
a lot,
truth?
didn't he?
Is Jordan Love the truth? Oh, he says he's the truth.
He is.
Okay.
He is.
He's
Jordan
banged
Love.
up this year. I agree. He's a
I,
franchise.
I
QB.
love that you are
Love
loyal
is
to your
good.
team.
I call him
Great job.
55s. I call him 55s now. I call him
Y'all
55s.
get there, man. Y'all get
He's a
there.
55er. He's going to get his 55 mil.
Oh my. What is
Didn't he
Brock
already
Purdy
get
going to do?
He's going to take the friendly deal. He has
Brock's
no
gonna
choice.
get
I
his
mean,
money.
talking about breaking news, apparently
Brock's gonna get his
Debo
money.
Samuel wants out of San Francisco. How does that make you feel, bro?
That hurts, man, because I feel like he's definitely one of the pillars of our team.
But y'all drafted Mr. Ricky
I get it. I get
to
it. But
take
he's,
his spot in front of his face.
And Jennings went.
Debo's
Nah,
got.
platinum
nah,
all year.
listen, Jennings went crazy.
I mean, you
He
got
went
With
Ayuk.
Ayuk out, there's no more
Jennings
room for
went
Debo.
crazy.
No more room.
Debo's got
I
kind of
just
chunky
think-
anyway.
There's
Well,
no room
D-
for any
He's
other
such a
wide receiver.
gadget player,
Yeah.
and you got to feed him a little bit, but they already know what he's going to do.
Too many mouths to
Little
feed.
jet screen.
You know where he
toss
would. You know,
sweep,
we talked about him earlier.
slant. He's not going to do too much.
You know where
vertical,
Debo
right?
would be good? Chip Kelly with the Raiders. Chip Kelly
I
would
say
know how to use
Baltimore.
that gadget.
Maybe 4 years ago.
I say Baltimore.
How many guys do you
Debo,
need
go
that
get
need
your
to
bread,
know
go
how
to
to run the
Baltimore.
ball in Baltimore? Because all he's going to
Hey.
be used as a handoff jet sweep guy
Hey, that's all they
and
need.
screens.
Right now, we need to stretch the field. more.
Debo isn't
Right
a
now-
real receiver to me.
Yes, he was.
Like
but
a-
he got
was,
away from
not.
it because
He's not now.
Kyle used him more as a gadget player. You got to think back in high school.
He's
Debo
like,
Samuel
Percy,
was
he's like a
running
bigger
back.
Percy Harvin.
He was a running back. No, don't ever. No,
I'll
don't-
take a
no,
bigger Percy Harvin.
No,
Bigger Percy.
no
What's wrong with Percy Harvin?
Maybe. Hey,
Why are
may-
you?
maybe he goes. So
Why you-
everyone-
No.
Tim, we've been
The
doing good.
skill
We've
set
been
of
doing
Percy
good
Harvin
over the
compared
last
to
like couple
Debo.
weeks.
You don't
I've been
agree?
loving your takes.
You don't agree? You
Not
don't
even
I've been
agree?
loving your
close.
takes.
Percy's
You know what I
on a
mean? I've been
different
kind of
level.
vibing with you, but no Percy Harvin disrespect will be taken here.
Ever.
Ever.
That,
That's one of the
Debo
greatest
Samuel
players.
could never.
I thought that was a good comparison.
Debo Samuel could never.
No, could never.
I
Could
said,
never.
you know, like-
no.
They just didn't know
Thicker,
what to do
fatter,
with Percy
slower.
yet.
I don't know.
Percy's a 4-3 guy. Percy can really play receiver. Percy doesn't need to have jet sweeps. Percy can take off kickoff returns to the house. I mean, he was a
Y'all are saying nothing
a
that
triple
Debo can't do, though.
but not at
Thank
that
you,
level.
Lauren.
Percy was
I said 4 years
consistent,
ago.
But Percy was consistent. Debo hasn't been consistent since he signed an agreement.
Percy, how many
I'll
years
put it
did
like
Percy?
this.
How many years did Percy play in the NFL?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough
Okay,
because
but
of migraines.
Migraines.
But look,
Migraines.
because they didn't let him smoke. If he would have just,
Yeah.
if they
He
would have
played
gave
high
him his
all the time.
marijuana, he would have been all right. He would have been able to make it through. But the biggest thing about Percy is, has he ever got 10 touches a game? It's rare. In no place that he played, he was not
He-
getting 10 touches a game.
But that's why I'm going back to the Debo talk of he's bigger. Debo can get 10+ touches a game because his body can take it.
No, they just prioritized giving Debo the ball.
I'll give you that
knew-
as well.
Nobody knew what to do.
Ahead of his game, ahead of his time,
We
ahead of his
started a
time.
whole
We
argument
weren't
about
there
Debo
yet.
Samuel.
We did.
Breaking news is always breaking.
I'm not gonna dog him.
Breaking
I
news
have
is
his
breaking.
Jersey.
He's going to
I'm a
Atlanta.
Debo
He's going to
man.
Atlanta. I'm gonna call it now. He's going to
I wish
Atlanta.
him nothing but the best. But
Why
he's a South
Atlanta?
Carolina guy.
They got to take some
I
off
think he
beat.
goes down to
He's
Baltimore.
going to Atlanta. You don't
I
have to
think
pay
that's a nice
a
little
quarterback.
fit.
You have money to go
Either
around
Baltimore
still.
or Miami.
Kirk took a friendly deal. Nah.
He'll
You know,
go. He'll go
I
back.
got
He'll
one
go back
more.
with his old coach.
I got one more random one. The Cowboys are making it seem like.
stop.
Hold on.
Please stop. Stop it.
Hold on.
Stop it.
Hold on. The Cowboys are doing everything in their power to prioritize running the football, right?
Then why don't we get
All
a
offseason.
running back?
All offseason.
Need an offensive line.
Because
That'd be nice
it
too.
allows
That'd help.
you.
Maybe a couple guards.
It allows you to diversify your offense.
He said that. Lowe said that, man.
Wait, give us what's going on in there.
It's in the chat because you said something about Percy Harvin.
What's in the chat?
Comparison
Oh
there.
no.
My man Lowe's. Big brother, what's up? He
What'd he
said,
say?
just because you can do everything doesn't mean you're as fast as Percy.
No one said that
Percy
he was
did
as
everything,
fast.
bro,
Or as
super
good.
fast. He's better. They're
You're saying they
talking
were
about a
used
Cordero.
similarly. That's the point.
Hey, while they did bring up
they
Cordell,
were.
while they did bring up Patterson, where was he playing? Recently.
Franks.
Atlanta. He was
Percy
in Atlanta
Harvin
a little
and
bit.
Debo comparison.
You run them in the
love it.
same type of offense.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Hey,
you
that
guys
reaction?
are.
Hey, but if you lose, if you're the 49ers, and
Only
you
Laura
lose,
and I understand.
If you lose a Debo, who's doing that now?
Christian
You're-
McCaffrey.
No.
Really on a half an
Oh,
ankle.
no, you're
Yeah.
not
your
doing that.
dynamic changes.
Yeah,
Everything
it
has to
changes.
change,
It-
and I get it.
because-
They're built for it.
Because,
They're built
hey,
for it.
If Brock is getting paid, then I want to see that paycheck.
Everything
I
has
wanna
to
see it.
change.
You
I
gotta
wanna
stretch
see
the
I
it.
agree.
field.
No,
You
everything
gotta
has to
stretch
change.
the
Timing comes into play, so now I actually like the Ayuk signing.
Yeah.
I actually do because I'm okay with it. Whatever. I don't think that I still think he's overpaid, but I'm okay with it. But he's overpaid.
I agree with you on that.
But he's got time
I
to
don't
show me
disagree.
that he can earn his contract. So
We'll see. He's
You know,
coming
All
off
right,
an ACL
we're
injury.
going to
too.
move off this for one quick
let's-
second. I've got something that I want to bring up to this panel. I'm not sure if everyone is aware as is watching. Lauren Morales plays quarterback for the Collin County Crash. That's out here. You can come here for dinner to Chop Sports McKinney, and then you can go watch the Crash play on a Saturday night. Or you can go watch the Crash play and then come here and get warm and get your drink on and get your eat on at Chop Sports McKinney. But Lauren, you play quarterback. You
Yeah.
played last weekend
Yeah.
in a preseason game. I had the opportunity to commentate for that game on the New Era Media broadcast. Had a great time. Man, you're like 100 football years old. How did that feel for you last weekend?
I was just about to say, a leave has been good all week.
Okay.
It's about the recovery, but no, man, just to play football again is dope. Plus the Super Bowl's here, so being able to get out there, say HUD a couple times, right, throw the ball a little bit. Weather was great, so it wasn't, I wasn't bundled up. It was good to get active again. So we're looking to actually hang out at Chop Sports after our game. So maybe you can catch us on a couple things. We have some live streams we could put up around here. We're looking to do some more partnerships. Again, it's a local semi-pro, but in spring, we all know there's no football. Up until recently, we have the UFL, which we're trying to cover as
Right,
well.
we'll do some of that too. But hey, Lauren Morales and the Collin County Crash, look for them. They're part of the TUFL. And last weekend, they took on the last year's TUFL runner-ups, the Pit Bulls, and they are. What is their surname? What is their
They are
Lone Star?
Lone Star. They're out of Fort Worth.
They took on the Lone Star Pit Bulls, who were runner-up last year in the TUFL. They beat them 22-0, I believe, was the final score. It was a fun showing,
Nice.
good clean game.
Congrats
And
on the
Lauren,
dub, my man.
Lauren, my man was on fire until the turf monster got you to about the
That
5-yard line.
one play in the
One
garbage
play.
juice. One
That
play in the garbage
Well,
dumpster. Okay.
You're the only one up here on the panel that still gets to strap it up.
You're
so,
lucky, man.
you know,
Embrace
we're
it.
living
Have
through
fun,
you in
man.
that realm. So great job
Love it
last
up.
weekend.
Appreciate that.
As we talk to that, let's get on to the road to the Super Bowl, and we'll talk about the Chiefs first. And when I think about what the Chiefs did, right, they earned that number one seed somehow. And what were we told throughout? We were told that just like we used to hear with the Patriots, the Chiefs are done. They don't look as good. Something's wrong with Patrick Mahomes. Kelsey should retire. Blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden we look up, it's not the Ravens, it's not the Bills, it's not the Chargers with the number one seed. But Brandon said earlier it was the Patrick Mahomes Invitational. The Chiefs get the number one seed. They end up playing the Texans, who really, I'm not sure how they beat the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were the better team. And so you get the Chargers out of there. The Bills and the Ravens had to play each other, so you didn't have to face both of those. And then you face a Bills team that was just scared to lose to you. To me, the road for the Chiefs, really to get here, wasn't that difficult, but now they're here. And can they three-peat? That's going to be the question. But I don't feel like their road was the toughest that we've seen in years past, considering that they got to escape the Ravens and the Bills. But, you know, they got to beat each other up. Lauren, how did you feel the road was? And looking at that, do you think, oh, yeah, it was obvious that the Chiefs are going to be in this game?
I mean, the Chiefs played to it. They, we're not gonna say they lost that last game to, shake anything up, but they knew what they were doing. They played to their season. They don't get to make it. I'm not gonna speculate on that.
Exactly what they were doing on that last
But
game.
it cleared the road a little bit. And let's be real, like Joe Burrow was not present this year.
No Joe Burrow.
No Joe Burrow in the
He was
AFC
fighting,
of
yeah.
what the gauntlet should kind of be. The Dolphins, I think, healthy. They ring a lot of noise still, in my opinion, when it comes to the offensive scheme they run. It's a little tougher, but you don't get to choose who you play. You know what I mean? And the Chiefs they just don't make mistakes, man. You can say whatever you want. It's rigged. Well, if you're saying it's rigged, you should have bet on them, because then you don't really believe it's rigged,
here
right?
Well, I mean, they are. The Chiefs are 11-0. XO. The Chiefs are 11-0 in one-score games. So when it gets to that point, when you're in the fourth quarter and it's close, do you ever feel in that game like the Chiefs aren't going to win? Because I know I don't.
Man, their road was insane. Because every game they played went down to the wire.
Everyone.
Almost every
That's
single
why they were
game.
11-0.
They won it that way.
It was so close that the world has said, you know what? The referees are a part of the Kansas City Chiefs organization. We actually believe that now. You know what I mean? And
Well, do we believe it? Or is it
some
something to talk about?
I don't know. Some people really believe it. I mean,
Some do.
there were
Brandon
some
does.
calls that I'm like, I don't know, that was a little off. But the way that you're able to win those games week in and week out, their road was quite challenging. There were some times where the Eagles were absolutely throttling teams. It was over early.
Which would you prefer, though? Challenges every week so you're ready for these situations? Or just 55 to 20 wins?
In this situation now, I mean, when I look at it now, it's like, I want to be battle tested.
100%.
You know what I
100%,
mean?
and
I
that's
want
what the
to
Chiefs
be
do.
battle tested.
I like
you
that.
You don't care about what happened in week 3 and week 5 when you win, a double OT game or OT game, something like that. You don't care. Now you want to be battle tested. There were times where Saquon Barkley was sitting in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Their road just wasn't as difficult. It's crazy to say because I thought they had the more difficult schedule, but the Chiefs had to battle week in and week out. Their road was a
They had the
gauntlet this
tougher
year.
division.
It was a gauntlet this
Cowboys
year.
being hurt. You got the Raiders. There's always a one-off in every division. But the Chargers were a playoff team. The
Facts.
Broncos were a playoff team. So it's not like they didn't play these guys twice and still host a record where they.
And you opened up against the Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So even at your best,
And won
and that's another thing too. The
by an
Chiefs,
inch.
They're reigning. They're reigning, right? We definitely have all been there. You're gonna get everyone's best game. How did it
Period.
feel when you were? We know your alma mater where you went to, like. You're getting everyone's championship game. So Mahomes and the Chiefs, like this isn't new to them. This is true to them.
The
If
consistency
anything,
is brilliant.
Stay in prime time.
yeah, we're here. Oh, it's Sunday. It's 7. Oh, all right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, great. But guess where we're
another
gonna be at in the
Sunday.
playoffs? Arrowhead. He was upset last year, and what did he say? We're coming back, and we will be at home. And now he's here. He's only got one thing left to do, and it's pretty much snap them fingers and make
Oh.
these Eagles disappear.
Oh, we're calling him
Dude becomes
Thanos.
Thanos.
We're calling him. We're calling him.
Thanos?
Right now, this man.
Wow.
One Infinity Stones.
Here's why I
Thanos.
say that too, because the mindset of everybody in this building, and probably
Shout
the
out,
next
appreciate
5 ones, nobody likes the man. Why? Why do we not like Mahomes? What has he done wrong?
Oh, we hate success.
It's bizarre.
We
It's
hate
bizarre.
success.
You know what I mean?
I
They
love
did Brady,
that.
they did Brady the same way.
And
what
that's
is this?
why I've seen
What
this song
Moscow
before.
What are you drinking on here,
Moscow
Brandon? A
Mule.
Moscow
Oh, that's
Mule.
number 2.
How many is this for you?
That's just
2.
For the camera, too.
Yeah,
Only
we're-
2. Only 2 on
for
the camera.
Only 2 for the camera. Hey, get down here to Chop Sports McKinney. We're here till 4 o'clock. Folks, we are an hour into this. We got an hour left. Super Bowl will start about an hour and a half after we're off. Man, what a fun day this has been so far. We've talked about the Chiefs road. Now, let's talk about the Eagles road a little bit, right? Just in the division, they're in a division that wasn't meant to be very strong. We didn't expect the Commanders to be as good as they were. We really thought the Eagles would be the best team in that division, even though last year they fell off the cliff. But that Saquon Barkley transaction, we knew, right? I think we all knew they were the best team in the division. Dak gets hurt, making things a little bit easier for the Eagles
Right,
in that
definitely,
division.
definitely.
And then here's what stands out to me when you get in the playoffs. The Lions bounced. The 49ers, non-existent, not even in the playoffs. The Cowboys,
Ouch.
obviously, out of there. The Packers, out of there. Any team that could have been the Buccaneers, who beat them last year, beat the Eagles last year in the playoffs. Any team that was a threat to the Eagles bounced before the Eagles had to play them.
Yeah.
XO, have you thought of it from that point, from that standpoint?
I hadn't. You know what I mean? As a Vikings fan, I was looking at it like, ooh, it's wide open. Right. It don't feel
Vikings
that. It don't feel that crazy. You know,
Licking some chops.
It don't feel that crazy to be able to get in. But I mean, now that we look at it now, it's Super Bowl Sunday. I mean, I do want to applaud the Eagles because, again, you changed coordinators. Again. You had to make it work again.
They're still running the same offense.
And, sure, I mean, to an extent, but there's still terminology. There's things that change, and they had to learn that and be able to get back to this game. There was times we were looking at it like, this passing team, it's not real good at passing the ball. And then all of a sudden they blow up in a playoff game like, they can pass the ball. You know what I mean? They can just do it from all angles. I mean, there was point mid-season, I'm looking at Slay like, does he still got it? He's washed. And then he's making huge plays in the playoffs. There's so much I can break down about this season. They converted a left tackle who was a bum and moved him to guard, and he looked like one of the best guards in the league, in Mekhi Becton. You know what I mean? Small things like that. They took a guy like Zach Bond, who was a special teamer, and turned him into a first-team All-Pro linebacker out of nowhere. You know what I mean? So that road, they dug, they fought, they clawed. I got to applaud them because they just keep doing it. Sirianni, I thought you were a bad coach a couple years ago, but at this point, you deserve your flowers.
He makes bad decisions, though. I will stand on that. Let Saquon break the record.
No.
Let Saquon break the record.
It's not about
He's
Saquon
healthy
breaking
today.
the record, though.
He's healthy today.
And hold on. And you're here today. But still, if you lose this game, he could have. You could have let him break that record.
Okay, but Lauren, do you realize? What'd you say, producer? Oh, he says otherwise. Listen, I'm going to agree
Dickerson
with
will
Eric
take that.
Dickerson, and here's why. Here's why I disagree with you on that. Because if Saquon Barkley plays in that last game, the offensive line has to play in that last game. The quarterback has to play in that last game. All the starting receivers have to play in that last game.
Agreed.
What they did was a team thought, and to me,
Negative.
that made a lot of sense.
Hindsight, they'd made that decision. The PR was way off. Saquon spoke 2 days early because the media caught him off board, and he says, "What did Saquon said? Oh, I would, but it wasn't really
Well,
a
of
strong
course he
stance,
wants
right?"
the
But
record.
then your coach comes out and has to kind of like save you a little bit and be like, "No, I asked him." Wait, well, did you ask him or did you not ask him? And then Saquon's like, "Well, yeah, my dad was upset too." And okay, so what is going on here? You either didn't want to play or you did want to play.
But there's one unspoken thing that a lot of these NFL guys still believe. They want to do it in 16 games.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? That
Agreed.
extra game,
That's true.
a lot of them don't really care about that extra game because they know for the past, for a long time, they didn't have that extra game. So when you're trying to compare yourself to Eric Dickerson, you should have did it week 17. So I think a lot of them are okay with it. If I don't hit it now, I mean.
I like that. I like
Obviously,
that take.
hindsight's always 20/20, but I don't think that opportunity presents itself again for him.
No, it doesn't.
And when you come into these games like you have to, and we talked about earlier, MVP. If Josh Allen plays the last game of the season, Lamar had 100 more snaps than Josh Allen, so maybe he does statistically get the first team All-Pro as well. You know what I mean? You didn't play the last game, so that's at least 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 200 yards, 300 on the ground, whatever total yards. But the way I see it is we were talking about the road and how to get here. That's part of it. Right. And kudos to them because it's there. But I'm still on. If they don't win this Super Bowl, that will come up again.
You think it will?
The record will come up again.
You think it will?
Yep. Because what do the Eagles get this year? What do the Eagles get this year?
Well,
Runner-up?
You should have got the 30 yards.
Runner-up? We were just talking
Most
about it,
rushing
but
yards
semi-pro, I
in
just
a
played a runner-up.
we don't get a
regular and
chance to-
postseason. That's
We
what
don't
he's
get a
got.
chance to see Saquon finish a lot of seasons, man. Like, he has a history of being banged up.
Yep.
And he
That's
made
true.
it through this season. And I think it was because they took a lot of they made a lot of decisions that, people might not
get him
agree
there.
with. But
I don't have the stat in
He's
front of me,
there.
but I'm pretty sure he probably carried the ball more than he did in New York.
yeah, I think
So
so.
for him
I'm
to
sure
still
he
stay
did.
healthy,
Because he was
that's
available.
That's a kudos to the organization of Philly and to
for
get
sure.
here. But I don't think one game would have hurt him. I think they should have gone out there and he could have broke that record. We would be talking about it still right now, regardless if it has an asterisk next to it or not. 17, 16 games. We get it. But the way I see it is Saquon he's got to show up today. He's over 100 every game in the playoffs, and I think he needs that today.
He has to.
Ooh, that's going to be tough because we're going to talk about this later, but 18 playoff games without a 100-yard rusher against the Chiefs, and it's what keep the Chiefs winning. Now let's talk about some transactions for just a moment because each team had to make a few transactions to be in this game today. And I'm going to submit that for the Chiefs, they had two. Number one, the draft was absolutely brilliant to steal that draft, to steal do the trade from Buffalo and steal Worthy and get you a really fast wide receiver, and actually has played better than a lot of people thought he would. But the most important thing to me that the Chiefs did that really has been not talked about was that they kept Chris Jones.
Retainment.
Chris Jones
Retainment.
could have
That was
been
important.
off. He was a free agent. He could have gone anywhere he wanted to go, and he is here. Chris Jones stayed with the Chiefs, and if you think he doesn't anchor that defense, and he's not the reason this defense is so good, everything is around Chris Jones, I think, man, and talk about Saquon has to show up today. Chris Jones has to show up today for the Chiefs. Huge. To me, that was the biggest acquisition, Brandon. What do you think that the Chiefs did right in the offseason to be where they are?
I think adding him, signing especially in week 2, when they lost to the Ravens, they went and got him. And then he came back, they rolled off on a 10-game win streak, and ever since
Talk
then,
about betting on yourself, huh? I'm
yeah,
sit out.
right.
Sit out
I'm
this
just
game.
gonna chill for a
understanding your
minute.
worth. I think Xavier Worthy was a great one, but we're talking about DeAndre Hopkins, man. Adding
That was
adding
my
a
guy.
security blanket, especially when you don't see Kelsey enough, right? He's being doubled.
Rasheed
Now
gets
you-
hurt.
Yep.
Rice goes
Rice
down.
goes down. Pacheco goes
Hollywood's down.
Hollywood's down. Now he's back. So adding that created a whole lot of value and trust with Mahomes moving forward. So
We've
that
seen
was
it
a
with the
good one.
Chiefs. There's always that veteran receiver that comes alive late in playoffs, and that's what D-Hop's here for. Who knows? Might be Juju. You never know what you get to see with the Chiefs, which is kind of hard because everyone you could just bet on 2 receptions, take the over. Who knows?
Juju really had those 3-4 catches, and he'll do that.
They were big.
And he came up big last week when on those third downs, when out of nowhere it's Juju across the middle, and that could be huge for them tonight. What do you think?
It's kind of hard for me to use somebody like Juju, and actually I'm going to make some people mad right here. Saquon Barkley was not the biggest signing on that team. And the reason why is because I saw a lot of running backs get signed this offseason. I saw Josh Jacobs get signed. I saw Derrick Henry get signed. I saw Aaron Jones get signed, who had the best year of his career. So the reason why Saquon wasn't the biggest one, because you could insert any one of those guys in that Philly offense, and I think they would have did damn good.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
But if y'all don't know this name, look at this game today. This man will be all over the field. Zach Bond is an absolute nightmare at linebacker. And this guy never had a starting role. He had a couple spot starts here and there. He was pretty much a backup on the Saints playing special teams. They get him over to the Eagles. He's first team All-Pro. Do y'all understand what kind of ascension that is?
When you have a front four like Phillies, though,
that is a nasty
I hear
front
you,
four, man.
but they've had a front four for a long time. The Fletcher Coxes of the world, the
Yes.
Brandon Grahams of
Yes.
the world.
For a while.
And guess what they've always been bad at? They've always been bad at linebacker.
yeah, interior.
They've been looking for a linebacker for so long, and this guy comes in, and when y'all watch this game, he will be all over the field. The biggest acquisition between both teams to me is Zach Bond. If you don't believe me, look at it in a couple hours.
Ooh.
So
That's
passionate.
bold.
There's a lot of people
That's
you just
bold.
made upset.
You gotta.
I like that, though.
I'm standing on the table. Yo, look at me, man.
Don't
First
stand on
team-
the table.
First
Don't
team
do that.
All-Pro. That means he was recognized by his peers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, that you're balling. And a lot of times, like Tim says, a lot of times these are popularity contests, but nobody knew who Zach Bond was.
Yeah.
He was a special teamer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like people were just vouching for him. It wasn't like he had that automatic bid like a Bobby Wagner. You know what I mean? He didn't have that automatic
skins in
bid.
the game.
He had to grind it out. He had to really play and show you every single week. And if you want to stop this Kansas City Chiefs offense, I think it starts in the middle, even before you start with the deep passing game, and Zach Bond is going to be a part of that.
Well, I'm not even looking for the Chiefs to really focus downfield. I look at what they did a week ago, and it was balls out, balls out, balls out. And Mahomes has got that trigger. Mahomes is going to be able to assess the defense. The Eagles probably will play a lot of zone. They may surprise us with a blitz here or there, but they're going to be in that zone defense. That's going to allow Travis Kelce really to work the middle of the field. Now, if they squeeze down on that, that's going to allow them to take some deep shots down on their corner, take the safeties out to play. But the Eagles got two little white boys in the secondary that I got to say have really changed that secondary for the Eagles.
Scoop has not allowed a touchdown all year, man.
They are really good on the back end.
I don't
Really
see
good.
the
They
Chiefs
feed on that.
pushing it downfield like that, though. They're not going to have to.
They usually
gonna,
don't.
They don't need to. The safeties, they're going to want the safeties
But
to
it
come
might
up and
be
play
there.
football.
I don't
might
know.
be there.
I think so too.
It might be there today.
Hey, these boys they like to grab a little bit.
They're
They're
aggressive.
A little aggressive. And if you want to beat those type of players,
Run by
you
'em.
need to hit them right where they don't think it's gonna happen. You need to run right by them. So I would not be surprised if you see a Hollywood or Worthy deep shot.
Well, let's just
you gotta see some of
let's
that.
also
Speed.
just look around. Yeah, the speed's out for the Chiefs. It's all back.
Speed's here now.
It's all back.
Speed's here now.
It's all back, and they're gonna beat you up with Mr. Kareem in there and run the ball. And now Pacheco's still running the bill.
Oh, and he still runs like he like.
So
like
to have
he's an
him as
angry
the
kid
change
at
of pace
recess.
back is a little bit. We'll
And then
see
you
what
got
they're gonna do.
Ryan, always. Don't forget about
Oh
him,
yeah,
man.
his
Key
nice
third
little.
down.
He's just
Hey,
there to catch.
hey.
Key third down.
He'll catch you one. That's it. That's it.
There's one guy you haven't talked about in Kansas City that made an impact last week. Kareem Hunt is back, and he's making plays. And he's a
been
little
back,
bit of
yeah.
an X factor in the red zone and on third down.
I agree.
So look for him to come
He's gonna
alive
get
in
quite a
that
bit of
passing
carries,
game.
man.
Well, and they use him as an extension of the run game, right? In that passing
Right,
game,
absolutely.
as kind of a check down.
Tough yardage is going to him or Pacheco.
Now,
It's a
Brandon,
good problem to have.
we saw some stuff for the Eagles. Obviously, we know that Saquon Barkley was the number one acquisition for the Eagles. Probably, still can't believe the Giants did that. But what else did the Eagles do in the offseason, and why after that just complete implosion of the Eagles last year? Why are they in this game here today?
Their defense. Defense is Saquon. I mean, to me, the running game is very effective. It always has been. Jalen Hurts continues to switch coordinators year in and year out.
It's
But
crazy.
one thing that's remained consistent is that run game and that O-line.
Yeah.
But now they have
That's
the
the
number one
easiest thing to
but
stay
n-
consistent
But
is
I
run
get
game.
it. I get it. Now they have the number one defense going into this. Number one in takeaways, 10 turnovers in the playoffs.
You're all up.
Constantly adversity.
You're all up Tim's alley right now. Run the ball. Play defense.
You got to. Defense wins
that's all- that's
championships.
just-
we don't-
No.
Hey,
I don't like-
we don't
I
want to
don't
see
like
Jalen
my-
Hurts throwing the ball.
Ho.
100%.
Let him get at least 12
Listen,
passes.
I
man.
want my
that?
quarterback
Let him
to
get at
have
least
the
12
ability
passes.
to throw the ball that's not an
In the
RPO
chat,
slant. That's
in the
not
chat
a
it
slant.
said Chris Jones will win Super Bowl
Hey,
MVP.
Brandon,
Wow,
let's get
big
in.
statement.
Let's get into
Someone
the
else
chat.
said that
I know
today.
we're missing some chat stuff. I
Yeah,
said
we're
Chris Jones
missing
is
a
going to
ton
be a
of chats
difference today. I never said he would be MVP. That would be great.
That's
Yeah,
MVP
has
is
a D
tough.
lineman ever been
I'm
named
opposite.
Super
I
Bowl
think
MVP? No. Was it
Jones is going to be
was it
taken
Reggie
care
White?
of.
Was Reggie White a defensive?
Reggie White has one defensive.
Yeah,
He did.
No, I'm saying Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl
Didn't he win that?
MVP.
Steelers? What
No,
about
you
that?
know who it was?
What about
Check that.
Steelers?
Who
No,
is it?
no,
That's
no.
a good tribute.
So-
Steelers
the-
against the Cardinals? What's his name?
I'm-
The DN.
How about the corner for the
Debo.
Cowboys?
James Harrison.
How about Brown for the Cowboys? Number 24,
Yeah.
Larry Brown.
Oh, yeah.
With
There's
two
a few.
interceptions.
So
who won a
RC's throwing it
defensive
out on the
MVP.
table. He says Chris Jones
I mean,
will be Super Bowl MVP.
Chris
Can't
Jones.
believe we left out Von Miller.
Oh,
Wow.
Of course.
Mr.
Poor
Obvious.
Cam. Poor
Chris
Cam.
Jones will
finest.
be Super Bowl MVP.
Cam Newton made
Listen,
him MVP.
Y'all remember?
Chris Jones might have to be Super Bowl
Cam
MVP
Newton made
for
Von
them to
Miller
win.
MVP.
Dude, Vaughn was
Y'all remember this
crushing
one?
him.
The one that was crazy was the Malcolm Smith winning the MVP with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Remember that?
Seahawks.
Yes.
Great game.
It was a good one.
That was a good
Of
one.
course,
It was a
Big Ray
blowout.
Lewis has won one
Absolute
too.
blowout.
Hey,
Ray
I'll give you
Lewis.
another one. I'm wearing a Bears jersey today in New Orleans 40 years ago. Richard Dent, number 95, won MVP as a
Wow.
defensive end for the Chicago Bears.
Can it be done?
Let's go! Bear down.
I got
Chicago
Chris Jones
Bears.
getting-
If he was a
Oh,
player
man.
winning MVP,
The crowd
it
is
would be
live right
Jalen
now.
Carter. If there's a defense
Jalen
player.
I would
Carter's a
flip it
beast.
and go to
Jalen
Jalen
That's
Carter.
how the Eagles are winning the Super Bowl. That's the
Because
only way.
he would have to stop Mahomes.
He would have to be going
right?
crazy.
So the way I see Chris Jones, I think he gets handled today. Like not handled, but he's not gonna. He's not. Yeah, they're gonna double him and triple him most of the
That's right.
game.
Well, he works all across the board.
They're gonna pay his respect. They're gonna double him minimum every play.
They don't
I don't
let
know, man.
They don't let one
He's big
defensive
time in
lineman
big
ever
games.
beat them.
He's big time. in
As
big games.
players like Dexter Lawrence, they don't let those guys
No.
beat them.
Saquon's not running inside either.
You saw it last
He's
week.
bouncing.
That's true. He's going to have to stay
He's gonna
outside.
bounce it and hit to the. Hey, what do they say? Get to the hash, get to the sideline, look
Get up
for
out of
it.
there.
We got
Get
some
up out of
folks
there.
that
Get up out
are
of
on
there.
their way out. Our Packer fans are leaving. Hey, enjoy the game today. Who are you rooting for? Eagles. Oh, we got Eagles fans.
Eagles.
My goodness. Oh, your son's
Nice.
calling it. All right. All
Going
right.
NFC.
All right, hey,
All right, now.
guys, one thing we love to talk about around the Super Bowl time and the end of the season is legacy, right? And we've got some folks in here, not only from a individual standpoint, but we want to talk about one combination. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. When you think about some of the great combinations in history, right, it's usually wide receiver, quarterback, but there's some good quarterback tight ends. You've got Gates and Rivers, right? You've got Brady and Gronk, who had 90 touchdowns, number
Insane.
one in the NFL. Gates and Rivers had 89, by the way. But you have Mahomes and Kelce, 50 touchdowns, but they've won 3 Super Bowls together. Of course, Brady and Gronk won 4. Now, in one of those 4 that they won, Gronk was hurt, but Brady and Gronk both went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl together.
It's crazy.
When we talk about legacy, I think Mahomes, Kelce are up there. XO, is this the best tight end wide receiver or tight end quarterback wide receiver that we've seen? Where does it rank for you in this group that I've just mentioned? It's hard to overtake Brady and Gronk for me.
You're not. I'm sorry. They're not overtaking Brady and Gronk.
No.
No.
Them boys went to a different team, Tim.
Woo!
A completely
Come
You know
with
what I
me.
mean?
Hey,
Talk
hey,
about it.
hey, come with me. I'm gonna go
part
win
of the
this.
country.
They went to a different team. Say we're gonna do it again.
dominated.
Okay.
They went
No,
for the weather.
Gronk didn't even come to
weather.
training camp.
But don't get it
He was
twisted.
on the beach.
I think they are easily a top 3 tandem in any form of the NFL ever. I do think this is a farewell game for Kelce. So I think this is going to be big for them. This is.
You think this is farewell for Kelce?
I think it's farewell.
There's been chatter.
I feel that way too.
I think
He
it's
just
farewell.
signed a very friendly 2-year deal, and I believe that most of the money was front loaded
Yeah,
for a reconstruct.
yeah.
So he might.
I mean, he wins
Okay,
another.
okay,
he
then I
ties-
got to
he
get
wins
off topic.
another, he ties
I'm going to
for
get off
Gronk.
topic while you say that. Is he proposing tonight?
No.
If they win the game, is he proposing on stage?
Only if they win.
No.
Ooh.
He
If
won't
they win
propose
the
at all.
game, I'm going to put money
He's
on
not
it.
proposing
They
at all.
win tonight, he's proposing.
For the NFL, yeah, they were like, hey, go
He's
ahead and
not
do it.
proposing
go ahead
at
and
all.
Go ahead and do it.
Come
We
on
got
now.
something for
Money
you, boy.
now.
Y'all seen Kelsey?
middle, in the
Hey, if
middle.
y'all know
Right in
Kelsey,
the middle of everything.
if y'all seen Kelsey's history up until we all know his dating history now, and let's be real, he's not proposing.
So this
If
isn't
they
the
win,
one.
if they win and he goes off into the sunset
He's proposing.
before he decides to be a mega star, like people know him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wins this championship, retires, and he does that, he's going to be an absolute mega star.
He's already an actor, in case.
I don't
everybody
think he's
doesn't
ready.
know.
I don't think he's ready.
He wants this.
That's why he's got that goofy haircut
He
now.
wants the Super Bowl.
I mean, with this
He loves
win,
football
let-
still.
let's
He
think
loves
about it,
football
guys. Let's
still.
think about it.
Football's still the number one love. It's not Taylor, okay, guys?
I get it, but let's think about this. One more Super Bowl ties him with Gronk. He's gonna want to go down as the number 1 tight end of all time. You don't think he wants that other ring? Can they get a 4-peat?
Is he going to?
They're still young.
Could
We
he
know
be
what.
number
All
one,
I'm saying is
though?
we
Think
know
about
what
it.
finger the
If
ring
they
is
win
not
this-
going on.
If they win it,
Now hold on. Are
gonna
we
go
going to
back.
determine Super Bowls as the number 1? Because I mean, Kelsey still isn't going to be able to catch Gronk in receptions.
No.
I don't think
No.
he's.
even if in 2 years.
Thank you.
No.
So for
But
me,
rings.
Kelsey, he's done it. I think
4
he wins this one. He's
Gronk's
probably
got 4
done.
rings.
So where are you at? Where do you have this tandem?
So you think
this pair?
They're right. If they win this one, that's why I come back to the ring conversation. This
all about
ties
rings.
Them. This ties them. It's all about championships and what you do in those big games. And those guys,
Just
for
water.
year in and year out, show up every time in the biggest moments. They get to 4, that ties them. You're gonna want to beat them. You're gonna want to get that 5th. And I feel like Travis Kelce at this age, what is he? 35, 34? 35. Okay. I think he's got 2 more years.
That's what his contract
Well,
shows.
more.
One thing that
Two more.
people don't realize about Kelce, he's durable.
Yes, very.
Durability. He's always available. He's had one little,
Well, look what he did this
hiccup
year.
with
Look
his
what he
knee
did this
last
year. Look
and
what he did this year.
Exactly.
Regulated his minutes. He
When
didn't
it
work
matters
hard.
the most, that
He
dude
didn't work
shows
hard.
up, man.
He may slow down.
I don't
but when it
think he's
matters
gonna
the
retire.
most,
Didn't we
he
hear
shows up.
rumblings of him retiring last year?
We
Yeah.
did. Listen,
And then he signed a 2-year deal.
And I think they just
Yeah.
they wanted to do something that's never been done before. And if they can do that, I think he's done.
listen. If you're
He doesn't
Travis
seem
Kelce,
like a
Nothing
guy
left
that
to
goes
prove.
out on
He's Ty
top.
Gronk.
no. If you're Travis Kelce,
You're in the Hall of Fame.
you're in
Right
a
out of
great
Sunset.
system.
Right out.
The offense isn't necessarily designed around
he
you,
goes
but you have a
Mississippi.
big piece in it, right? You're dating Taylor Swift, who now is off tour and living in a house with you in Kansas City, so you don't have to worry about that. You have one of the best coaches, if not the best coach of all time, in Andy Reid. You have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. Why would you walk away when you are still winning? It just doesn't make sense. He'll want another one. I
Because
guarantee you. He's going to want to go 4 in a row. Forget the 3-peat. They win tonight, it's about the 4-peat, and he's going to want to come back for that.
I think when you have
like
you have a brother in the NFL.
You gotta want it,
You
man.
gotta want it.
You gotta want it, man.
Woo!
I mean, have y'all seen his brother? Have y'all seen him anywhere on social media? Have you seen
His
the
brother
smiles?
played a completely
Do you
different
see how
position,
comfortable
too.
and how much he's loving life?
Bro, his
You don't
brother
think
plays
that's-
center.
You don't think that? But you don't think that
he's
rubs off
different.
on him?
He's naked in front of a fireplace. He's great.
He loves this. He's
is
like
good.
Chunky, baby.
They play long seasons. They're not normal. They don't play like the normal people. They play very, very long seasons.
I just don't see him being a sunset guy.
Nah, not yet. Not
When
yet.
there's meat left on the bone, the Kelsey family
You
seems
think we
like
gonna have
they're
to-
going
we're gonna have to
for
pull
it.
him off?
He's chasing Gronk.
Not yet.
Well,
He's
even
chasing
if that's
Gronk.
the case, I think this is the year that
He's
you find
chasing
his
Gronk and
replacement.
rings.
Well, let's
Might
stay-
already
That's the
have
only
it.
thing you could do.
You do that.
touchdowns,
You
you're
do
home.
that.
Find
You
his
find a young tight end to groom.
Groom him.
As we talk about legacy, let's stay with the Chiefs. Andy Reid. Let me tell y'all something about Andy Reid. Okay, I got a little list here that might
great
surprise
man.
some of you folks. Andy Reid is the only coach to have 100 wins with 2 different franchises and appear in 4 conference championship games with 2 different franchises as a head coach. He's the only one. He has over 300 wins, which puts him 4th all time, only behind George Halas, bear down, Bill Belichick, Belichick and Don Shula, the great Don Shula. He's got 27 postseason victories, which place him 2nd all time, only behind Bill Belichick,
Bill.
who has only, by the way, 31. That could be broken next season or tied.
Even if it's broken, it doesn't matter.
To me, Andy's legacy is cemented. We haven't even talked about the quarterbacks that he groomed when he was working with the other teams with the Packers, right? And what he did with Brett Favre. To me, Andy Reid, if he's not the best coach of all time, he has to be talked about in the same realms with Bill Belichick, Don Shula, what's his name in San Francisco? I can't think of his name. Bill Walsh, who changed football forever, right? I feel like Andy Reid has to be talked about on the Mount Rushmore of coaches, Lauren, and I say that because of not only his dominance, but his dominance over a long period of time in 2 different conferences. Unseen, unheard of, we've never seen it.
I think he was already in talks with greats. We knew that. We already include him with these things. Maybe a couple years ago. Now he's 2 more Super Bowls in, another Super Bowl appearance this year. I mean, at some point, we all the rings, we get it, so Bill's going to be up there. And, I mean, let's be real. Right now, he's easily, you said it earlier, but he's easily the greatest coach in the NFL right now. Easily. I
agree.
don't know who in there
Right now.
would. Right now, there's
What?
no one sniffing his
Who's
boots
better than
right
him
now?
right now?
You saying that?
right now.
Right now. That's
right now.
actively
Okay.
coaching.
Right now.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Sorry,
yeah.
in the NFL right now.
Right now.
I'm
Actively
establishing there is
active-
someone
active
above him.
coaches.
We already know
Okay.
who's above him.
Coaches.
Active.
Yes.
Active in the NFL.
Yes. Okay.
When he's done, when Reid is done, yeah, it scares me a little as a Patriots fan.
Nah.
Scares me just a tad.
Well, no, hold
because
on.
he's done it in 2 different franchises technically with some stats.
Nah.
But all of his bowls come with one team.
He's developed
Right.
so many good Hall
They
of
all
Famers,
do,
man.
but
His coaching tree.
He developed Hall of Famers. Listen, Andy Reid was the reason that Michael Vick got his second chance, and look at how his game changed, and look what he did with Donovan McNabb over a long period of time.
Absolutely.
He won with Alex Smith. He's won with Patrick Mahomes. Bill Belichick won and only won with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady went on to win without Bill Belichick. So to me, it could be an argument and should be a debate for years and decades who the best of all time was, and it should come down between Bill and Andy.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, I agree.
But you could also say that Andy agreed. But the opposing argument, since you took the shot at Bill only, winning with Brady, Andy Reid might not be who he is without Mahomes.
Right.
Mahomes might not be
Facts.
who he is without Andy Reid.
Well,
Possibly, but you just
this,
proved that the player's better than the coach,
If,
right?
if Patrick
'Cause-
Mahomes gets
I think
drafted
Tom
to the
did that, didn't
Chicago
he?
Bears, Andy Reid is still Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes might not be Patrick
Bears
Mahomes.
might
So
not
let
be
me-
the Bears.
Let me ask you this. Because I personally don't think so. I don't think there was one year. I think he's the greatest player to ever play the game. That's Tom Brady. But I don't think there was one season he was the best player in the NFL.
When he was most valuable player, they didn't win.
I don't think there was
The
one
Super Bowl.
season where he was the best player in the NFL. But since Pat Mahomes has entered the NFL, he's the best player in the NFL.
Facts.
So that's the difference between those two coaches. That's
the-
why, to
the-
me, Belichick is the greatest coach to have ever coached the game.
This
How
is
much
why
credit
we
do
love
you give
football.
Andy for how good Patrick is, though?
I'd be damned if y'all sit up here and just disrespect Brady.
He was
Not the
never.
He was the best
2018?
quarterback.
He was never.
He was the best quarterback.
2018?
Who didn't? Who did you want more than Brady on your team?
Year after
What?
year.
Who? Who? Somebody that could run
2020
faster?
Brady?
Year after year, he was getting outpassed.
So
by,
what?
By other two
What
Hall of
happened
Famers.
with
So what?
the
He was
18-0
getting
season when he
outpassed by
had
Drew
Randy
Brees.
Moss?
So
He was
what?
getting outpassed
Didn't he
by
have like
Peyton
50
Manning.
touchdowns?
Give me one quarterback that you're
did it
starting
too.
your team during that era that
He's
you're
talking
putting
about a
over
certain year,
Tom
so-
Brady.
I'm just talking about if we go down the line, certain years, there was years that it was
Aaron
Cam.
Rodgers.
It was 1 year it was Cam. There was 1 year it was Peyton
Cam.
Manning.
You're never taking Cam over Tom
man.
Brady, ever. Never.
Go ahead,
Never.
go ahead and dab on him real quick. Just dab on
Ever.
him real quick. Yeah.
Yes.
There's ever a moment where you
MVP
thought,
Cam season.
listen, if there was
Nobody
ever,
was better.
If there was ever a moment where you thought that you would start a team with Cam Newton over Tom Brady, you should be drug tested immediately
The-
and seek counseling.
The year after the MVP season,
I don't care about the
You
MVP
taking Cam
season.
Newton.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
You taking Super
I
Bowl.
seen the memes.
As a
No, you're
Patrioets
not.
fan, there's been about 3 times that
That
Patriots
Cam Newton
fans
was
alone
insane.
wanted to give up a little bit on Brady.
Insane.
That Cam didn't win.
Unstoppable.
That Cam didn't win a Super Bowl because it was more important to him that he won an MVP than the Super Bowl.
Oh,
So he looked at the
there
ball on the
you
ground
go.
and said, "No,
Look,
I don't need
Cam
that.
mentioned he did his
I don't
job.
need that. Oh,
He did
I
his
did
job.
my
He made the
job.
Panthers
It's not
organization
your
much
job." It's
better.
no, we didn't.
And look what
They
happened
haven't
after
been
he
the
left.
same ever
yeah,
since.
look what happened after he left.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Okay.
You're going to keep waiting for
Look
a
what
long
happened
time.
while he was there and he
You're gonna-
got cut.
you're
See
gonna-
He
ya,
got there, it
Cam.
was year after year they were in the playoffs.
Speaking of legacy.
What do you mean?
Speaking of legacy, we're gonna keep going.
Speaking
We
of
got more.
legacy.
Cam.
Listen.
I'd be damned. Now, what you said with Mahomes, ever since he stepped foot in the league,
Ever
he's the
since he
best.
stepped foot.
That's what I agree with, B. Franks. But I'd be damned if they disrespect Mr. Brady. Ain't no way.
Hey, Brady won a
No.
Super Bowl.
Brady.
Hey, Brady won a Super Bowl. the
Brady's
year
never played
that,
a
that,
Man,
that
Ain't
Mahomes
nobody
was still
better
in the
than
three,
league.
Brady.
three
But-
Super Bowls
There's only
For
one
playing
quarterback
different
that
team.
beat Mr. Mahomes, and that was Tom Brady when it matters
this
most.
time.
And it wasn't a
Whooped his
defense.
ass.
It
It
wasn't
is
a
where-
defense.
well,
It
except
was
for
the
Joe
team.
Burrow.
And guess what?
Joe
that
Burrow beat
same
him
year,
once. Joe
guess
Burrow
what?
beat him
He was
once.
a very mid quarterback that year. He was good.
Who?
He was good.
He's
when
never
it
been
mattered,
mid.
he
When?
showed up. But that year, he was good.
Who?
Brady.
Brady was 45, man.
Bro, what are you
I
drinking?
agree.
What are you drinking?
I agree, but that's my point, though.
Brady had a
Hey,
handful
man,
of
Brady
grades,
decided to
man.
If
take
you're
an
not
off
drinking,
year.
you
That's
stop
my
drinking.
Look,
Spanking him.
in an off year for Tom Brady, he decided to get some weather, to relocate,
Spanking him.
bring his
Tan.
buddy
He
with
said,
him,
"I knew
get a
Casey's
nice
defense
tan.
better
I
than
think he
they
grew
do."
a couple inches in
Okay,
Hey,
Tampa.
y'all get me there. I'll do the rest.
Look,
all
is
right?
this
Pocket,
the
oh,
Get me there.
disrespect?
I got the
Dot.
rest.
5%. 95 y'all, 5% me.
Listen, Brady is one of those guys, and Patrick Mahomes is one of those guys. There's only a handful that we've witnessed in our lifetime. One of those athletes that just there's something about them.
Yeah.
They
So
just have it,
Yeah, so.
right? They just
so good.
they just have it. And
The-
Brady was one of those guys.
The tough part is
I
that
don't care
it-
how bad you think he was.
that
Wait,
it
wait,
factor
wait,
about
wait a
listen.
minute.
Alright,
Wait a
we're-
minute.
we're talking
I
athletic.
will never in life, ever
It's just
in
because he
life,
wasn't fast. right?
disrespect
That's
the
what the
GOAT.
problem is.
I will not disrespect the GOAT. Tom Brady is the best football player who ever
Tell
played the
that
game.
to the camera.
But
Tell
you're
that to the
saying-
camera.
Period. Look
No,
at
I
the
want to make
camera.
sure. I want to make sure you understand. He's the best player to ever play the game. But each year, he was never the best player in the league. Each year, because some of those years it might not even been a quarterback. Some of those years it was Aaron
I know what
Donald.
he's saying. I know what he's
I
saying.
know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Some of those years it was literally Aaron Donald. Aaron
And we're
Donald
saying
went
that
a
Mahomes
decade
is
of
the
pretty
best
much
player
being
in the
best
league.
player.
Saquon was the best player in the league this year. If you want to go that route, Mahomes wasn't
To
the
me,
best
this
player.
Lamar was the best player.
Yeah,
in
this
the league.
year.
Why
He
you-
didn't even have the best quarterback
Yeah,
here.
we finally saw the attrition
Joe
over
Burrow
the last
had a
2
much
years.
better season than
We finally
than
started to see
Mahomes.
the attrition over the last few years, but he still goes to win the Super Bowl.
Hey, how many fingers you got on one hand?
Enough?
Not enough for Tom. He has
I know.
more
Thank
rings
you.
than that.
Thank you.
No. See, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. They trying
Bill.
they
And
trying to
Bill.
make me out to be a Brady hater. All right, Brady, if you
He's
see
a
this,
Brady
I am
hater.
not a Brady hater, okay?
Brady.
I love 12.
This all coming
My
from a guy
birthday is
with
12.
a Sam Darnold jersey
Depends
on.
which 12 we're
I can't.
talking about.
I
But
can't.
yeah.
Birthday is 12. Y'all,
I
y'all
can't even
tripping.
take you seriously. Hey,
Oh,
let's
my
talk. Let's talk
goodness.
about another guy that's on the Kansas City Chiefs roster, the coaching roster, Steve Spagnuolo, known as Spags.
Go get a head coach.
Let me tell you a few things about Mr. Spags.
Preach.
4 Super Bowl rings as a coordinator.
Crazy.
The only guy in history with 4 Super Bowl rings as a coordinator. He's known for his exotic blitz packages. He's very aggressive. Him and Andy have made a great team. For the last 6 seasons, we always talk about Mahomes and the offense, but it's been Spags has been there defensively.
Heavy,
And
yeah.
he's been the orchestrator
Absolutely.
of that defense. It's important to note that Spags was also an assistant coach for some of those Eagles teams back in the day. Now, he was coaching DBs back then, but he was still part of that culture and part of that defense that made the Eagles so good back in that day. So, XO, I'm going to come to you since you just kind of poo-pooed all over Brady's legacy.
Oh, man.
Where are you at with Spags' legacy?
If you want to be honest, he's not there yet, but he's approaching being the best coordinator of all time.
Why is he not there yet when he has
it
more
Dick
Super
LeBeau?
Bowl rings than any coordinator ever?
Because I think we're going to give it to offensive coordinators.
Should we? We say defense wins championships,
I
so
agree,
should
but
we?
I just think the masses would still lean towards OCs before they ever give
What
it
do
to a
you
defensive
say?
coordinator.
Forget the
What
masses.
do I say?
What do you say?
I say he's the best coordinator of all time right now.
We
The
can say he's the
Offense
best
or
resume- the
defense.
resume is
Offense or
insane.
defense.
The
Offense or
resume is
defense.
20 and 4.
Yeah. I mean,
20 and 4 in big
I
games.
think it's mainly
My God.
because he figured it out and said, "I'm not leaving Andy Reid. I'm not leaving Patrick Mahomes." You know, what
Why
I mean?
be a head
I'm
coach
gonna
when you
stay-
It
can
sounds
win?
like another
I'ma stay
coordinator I
right
know
here.
too.
Good of a
Sounds like another
situation.
coordinator I know that just went back home too.
I'm gonna
So.
stay right here. You know what I
Are
mean?
we talking
And-
about McDaniels?
McDaniels.
He gets it. You know what I mean?
McDaniel, yeah.
But- So I mean, that's why I think he's the best of all time. He could have easily left. I mean, any offseason, if he were to say, "Hey, I'm ready to take a head coaching job," I think everybody's gonna peak up. You know what I mean? But
Head coaches would pop that up.
Reid makes him the best coordinator of all time to me. His legacy has been cemented. So
I agree. It's been there.
Agreed.
He's only building it, even if he.
He gets this one. That's what, 5.
This would be his 5th Super Bowl as a coordinator.
So didn't he win those 2 Super Bowls with the Giants?
He
Wasn't
won one with the
coordinator?
Giants.
One with the Giants. Yeah.
One with the Giants.
With Strahan,
he won
those
one with the
guys.
Chiefs.
The
and
one
of
with the
course he
four.
lost one
man.
with
The one with them
Chiefs.
4 horsemen
But
on there.
one that scares me, they just
He beat the
haven't-
Patriots.
This is the only thing that scares me. They haven't caught fire late like they normally do. Like
will.
going into
Offense
these
usually
Super Bowls,
pumping.
their
Yeah,
defenses
you're right.
catch
You're right. They normally do.
fire.
Their
Right.
defense
So,
looked
like,
dominant last
know-
year.
you know what
look
has
up, you're
shown-
like, damn, they're the number 1 defense.
So you know what has shown
They're
this
like
year?
11 now.
X's and O's.
Yeah.
They always catch fire though because of these Jimmys and Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That are now gone. Right?
Right.
They've lost so many people over the last 2 or 3 years to contracts, and we almost thought they were going to lose Mr. Jones. Sat out a game. It's looking real bleak, right? And now he's here.
I mean, they
So,
lost. Yeah, they still won by.
As long as Spags got something to build around, doesn't matter where it is. Linebacker, whether it's Nick Bolton or whoever they have, if they have a centralized piece, he makes everything else go.
And he's gonna move all the way around,
like,
all across the field.
what they've done in the DB room, y'all,
Yeah,
over the past 5 years, I don't know if y'all kept up or
It's
y'all
impressive.
understand.
very.
It's like 5 years ago they had this group, and then the next season they were like,
Yep.
okay, you just come over here and play with us too, and then we'll try to make it work. And then the other guy is always really good. Like opposite of Trent McDuffie now, the other guy is just really, really good now.
The other guy.
That other guy.
Yeah.
Watson
They
is
let
really,
go-
really
They
good.
let go of the guy to the Titans. You were thinking, man, what the hell is?
Yeah,
what are they doing?
I thought Snead was one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Period.
Like,
Yeah.
How could you let him
He got
go?
paid like it.
Period.
He got
Team
paid like
defense.
it.
They play great.
And now he looked
team
terrible.
defense.
He
You know
got
what I
paid
mean?
like
Right.
it.
They play great team defense. How about let's talk about the Eagles. We don't talk about legacy with them a lot, right? That's kind of a younger crew. But Hurts and Barkley, we're going to talk about it. One, because Hurts is the quarterback, Barkley's the running back. Listen, we never thought about. I love Saquon coming out of college at Penn State, right? But he didn't do anything with the Giants where you thought, wow, this guy, we're going to talk about him in the lores of the NFL. But Brandon, when you run for almost 2,000 yards in today's NFL, when you bring back the value of the running back position, when you are the reason or appear to be the reason that your offense is running the way it is and you make it to the big game, if he plays good enough tonight, if he has one of those 150, 200-yard performances tonight, where is he in NFL lore in your mind?
I mean, you're definitely. That's a really tough question.
I know, it's
I like
supposed to
that
be.
because
It's supposed to be.
He's had such a sporadic career, and when he finally gets healthy, a full season, you really see his potential and what he could be moving forward. Is he one of the best of all time? We can't say that yet, just because the body of work isn't all the way there. But as far as statistically,
Oh, yeah, that's
as far as single season, it's one of the best.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of the best. I mean, I think his highlight, jumping over a guy.
That's the best play
The
I've ever seen.
backwards
I've never
hurdle was
seen
ridiculous.
I've
Human
never seen
highlight
that in my
reel.
life.
You know what I mean?
That's the
Yeah.
best play I've
To
ever
me,
seen.
that should drop the mic, right? He's got a lot of skill set. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run zone. He can run option. He can get in between the tackles. Man, he's one of the best of this generation. Let's just say that. Let's just say he just raised the bar for a lot of guys.
Lauren, before I get to you, I just want to point out it is 3:30, folks. We got a half hour left here, but hey, come in here and watch the Super Bowl at Chop Sports McKinney here. We're going to be here for another 30 minutes. The teams are entering the locker rooms, so this is getting real, folks. We're 2 hours from kickoff. But Lauren, where are you at with Barkley this year and what he's done? And does he need to show up tonight or does it matter?
Yeah, man, like opportunities like this don't come around often, especially for running backs. We know quarterbacks can get there. Jalen Hurts has already been there, right? Saquon might not get back. In the division that he's in, we know that it takes a couple. I mean, 1 year this team's good, 1 year this other team's good. He didn't leave divisions. Next year the Giants are going to beat him up twice a year, no doubt. But, I mean, Saquon needs it more than Jalen. Saquon needs this Super Bowl more
Saquon
than
needs this more than Jalen, even
More
though
than Jalen
this would be
100%.
Jalen's second loss.
100%.
Guys.
I can't wait for this.
Like,
So
Hear
what
me
do you
out.
got?
Hear me out,
Oh
man.
my God.
Why, though?
Are you done?
Almost.
keep going.
He
Keep
Saquon
going.
needs more?
Keep
Saquon
going.
needs to cap this
Keep
off
going.
to
Believe what you
justify
just
one
said.
of the best
No.
seasons. Well, let me tell you
Let
why.
him tell a story. Let him tell
He's
a
spitting
story.
right now.
Jalen doesn't need this Super Bowl for his legacy. That's what we're talking about, in my opinion. He's already been there.
Yeah.
You're not giving Jalen credit whether he wins or loses.
He
And
could
I'm
go
just saying
0-2.
you, and I'm just saying you.
I'm not.
Right?
But yeah, I
so,
agree.
But this will tell you that Mahomes is great, not that Jalen is bad. If the Eagles win,
That's interesting.
Right.
then Saquon Barkley will be the reason why.
We got a Cowboys fan in the house.
Jarvis!
What?
Yeah.
We always got to give love. All right, go ahead. Continue.
I mean,
Continue.
that's where I'm at. I'm with that.
Okay,
oh,
Chiefs
Chiefs.
fans.
Chiefs
Here
fans,
we go.
he says. He wants that to be
I
known.
think we're all Chiefs fans.
We see it. We see it.
Shout out to
That
Jarvis.
looks
man,
like a
from
star to
Dallas
me,
Mississippi.
but sometimes I don't know
Big
what
bro
I'm
coming
looking
in.
at.
So if he wins, the Saquon legacy is now left. Like, there's something to implant after this. We're looking forward to Saquon's legacy. If Jalen loses or wins, no one's gonna think different of him, in my opinion.
I disagree.
I agree. I
Strongly
agree.
disagree.
Oh, okay.
I want to cycle back.
Wow.
I'm going to cycle back to what you said earlier.
Wow.
It's unfortunate that he didn't get to go get that rushing title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Now, you needed him to be healthy to make it to this game. But with him not getting that rushing title,
You better win.
I want y'all to be ready for this. Nobody try to fight me in the parking lot. Saquon Barkley will be one of the biggest forgotten about running backs in the next decade.
If he don't win a Super Bowl.
We're going to forget about him because this was a flash in the pan for him. We've seen those flashes of him being really, really good.
Right.
And I've seen the NFC East year after year. There's always a team that's better the next year. This was your window. You're losing that offensive line. They're not going to be the same. You gotta rebuild. And you didn't get that rushing title. So if he doesn't go off this game, like if there's a mediocre performance, if he only gets you 80 yards, and
Sub
the
100.
Eagles, if he
Sub
gets
100.
80 yards and the Eagles lose, if he gets you 95 yards and the Eagles lose, in the next 10 years, we're gonna forget about Saquon Barkley. He was that guy. He was flashy, really good player. But as far as his foundation, his legacy, I don't know if it's gonna be like that.
So let me get this right. If they win, he'll be talked about in the same circles as Terrell Davis, let's say.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
If he
Yes.
doesn't
In that
win,
short amount of
yes.
career,
we're
yes.
we're gonna forget about it because he's not Barry, he's not Eric Dickerson, he's
It's
not
the
Walter
longevity,
Payton.
man. He doesn't have it.
It's-
He doesn't have it.
I kind of agree
one
with you.
full
But
season.
it's kind of Terrell Davis. If Terrell Davis had
Yeah.
won those Super Bowls with
Boy.
Denver,
I'm glad you
and
said
had the
it.
performance
Yeah,
that he
it's
had,
very
comparable.
we're not talking about
Yeah, I would
Terrell
I'm glad
Davis
you said
ever.
it because if he wins, oh my God, if they
Yeah.
win, you know it was because of Saquon Barkley. So we can all
Right.
say,
If
remember
they
that Super
win-
Bowl Saquon Barkley?
Well,
won?
John
I
Elway
hope
never
Jalen
won
throws
before
for
Terrell
300
Davis.
Dude,
yards
if
and
they
4
win, the whole
touchdowns and
Eagles
just shuts everyone
organization,
up.
the
There'll
whole
be a
Eagles
statue of
organization
Saquon.
is
Why are
getting
y'all
a-
disrespecting Jalen like
If
this?
they win, there'll be a
Why?
Saquon statue outside the
It's
stadium.
not a
It's
sign of
on Monday.
disrespect. It's
On
not a
Monday.
sign of disrespect to Jalen.
On Monday. They've already got it. They're ready
said
on
what?
it. I said, if the Eagles win, Saquon Barkley will have a statue outside that stadium by Monday night.
Not Jalen.
It'll
On
probably
Monday.
look like
No,
Jalen.
Jalen.
It'll probably
No,
look like
no,
Jalen,
not
but you know
Jalen.
how they
No,
do these
no.
statues. They don't do these
I
statues.
mean,
Listen.
one running back, the other running back. What's the difference?
Let's be real. Even if they do win it and Jalen has the game of his life,
It's going to be
And
because
he's-
of
and he
Saquon.
wins Super Bowl MVP.
all season, everybody gonna be saying, "You see what happened when Saquon Barkley got to the
That's
Eagles?"
right. That's
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
But he put him in that spot without Saquon.
And
Do y'all
didn't win.
forget?
And didn't win.
He almost
And didn't
won.
win, but didn't.
But why didn't he?
And I do forget because he didn't win.
Here, I'll give y'all a hint.
the
Why
fumble.
didn't he?
There it is. That
This
guy.
is why.
That guy.
It's
Yeah.
not about Jalen versus Mahomes. It's Mahomes versus
Well,
whoever.
well, let's talk
But
about
now
it.
that whoever, they got
talk about it.
Saquon
Let's
there.
talk about it, Brandon. 'cause
We got
we're-
a guy.
We're going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of each of these teams as we start to get really close to picking who's going to win,
it's
right?
almost there.
Now, for me, the Eagles' strength, obviously, we've talked about it all day. It's that run game, right? They run the ball, both with their quarterback and their running back, better than, the only other team that runs better than them would be the Ravens. That defense, though, stout secondary. Folks, they were number one versus the pass in the NFL. They were 8th versus the run. They were number 1 overall. This is not a defense that you can just run through. It is a stout defense that has a lot of Georgia Bulldogs on it. And yes, Georgia Bulldogs have always been good at defense. You look at at that roster, and it's filled with Georgia SEC players. This defense is historically good for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I feel that's why they're here. Brandon, what is the strength of the Eagles to you?
It's the trenches. They've been dominant from O-line and D-line for years, man. We obviously know that. Adding Saquon added more value. It added a different, pretty much to me, more dynamic than what they used to be. It allows you to, play safe with Jalen Hurts, but you still got the outside to where you can threat one-on-ones. I think that helps. Man, but I believe personally the trenches, it starts first. That's just me. Their defense, they eat. They're number 1 in takeaways, number 1 in defense overall. Defense win championships, man. Offense sells tickets.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. I
So
like that.
I'll piggyback off of you, Nuhi. Defense, I have down. They're hungry. That's what I have. They're not
Absolutely.
just normal
They're
defense.
different.
They're hungry.
They're absolutely different.
But the best defense, being a quarterback, can be your offense. That offense is explosive yet paceful. If they can retain the ball and not give Mahomes multiple
Suffocate 'em.
possessions,
Oh.
you give him the ball and more chances and more chances,
him off the
then
field. Yes.
you're gonna get Mahomes results. That's what's
Absolutely.
gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna
But
beat you again.
the sleeper, in my opinion, for the Eagles, what works for them, in my opinion, a lot of people may disagree, and I might disagree with myself 2 hours from now. They don't have nothing to lose. The Eagles don't have anything to lose. They're going against the big bad wolf. They're hoping.
True.
America hopes
Really?
that they take them down. America wants the Eagles. It's on their
So
side.
America's with Philly here.
They are with Philly, absolutely, and we
That
never
bold?
say
Being
that.
the
What's
underdog
our
is a
tat say? Are
powerful
they-
thing.
Is Philly the
The
play
only
here?
people that are bandwagoning to the
think Philly's
Chiefs that
gonna
haven't
win?
done it already
No,
is our
not at
lovely
all?
Cowboys fans, because they would kill
They
to
would
see
love-
the Eagles lose.
Let's go, Dallas Chiefs!
Yeah, absolutely. The Eagles and the rest of the world are the
And
Avengers.
to me, I don't get that.
Why
I
don't
No
don't-
one
I don't-
likes-
don't you
I don't-
understand?
I
Why
don't-
don't you
I
wanna
don't-
see
No
three
one
peats?
likes greatness.
Hey,
You gotta appreciate.
they can't keep that up too much longer. So you can go ahead and do that. I don't want to see Jalen Hurts and the Eagles really figure this thing out. I want them to have Super Bowl hangover coming into next year. I want them to be hurt. I want them to be a rough year next
Yeah,
year.
period.
You know what I mean? Mahomes, we expect for you to be here.
Yeah.
do this
You know
every
what I mean?
year.
We'll see you next year.
We'll see you again next year. But with the Eagles, this is huge for them.
Listen, as
They
a-
have everything to lose.
As
See,
a Cowboys fan, I
internally,
do
I agree.
not need or want or desire the Eagles to win anything.
Anything.
Ever.
Oh, look,
Ever.
there's definitely
Thank you.
Cowboys fans in the building.
Cowboy fans
They
in the
find a way to
building,
get in here
and I
somehow.
appreciate that. Now, let's get on to the Chiefs, XO.
I want to see a three-peat.
When I look at the Chiefs, and
We've
we talk
never
about
seen
strength,
it. We've seen it in basketball. We've seen it in baseball. We've never seen it in football.
Okay, I want to see it too. I want to see it too.
I want to see it.
All right.
I do want to see it.
Listen, from the Chiefs, from a strength standpoint, stat-wise, on paper, they are not better than the Eagles. They're just not. The Eagles are better than the Chiefs in every way on paper, right? You know what the Eagles don't have? When we talk about the strength of the Chiefs, they don't have Patrick Mahomes. They don't have Andy Reid. The Chiefs are 11-0 in one-score games this year, ranked first in the NFL. Now, the Eagles, I believe, are 7-4. I think they're ranked fourth, so they're also very good. The Chiefs, though, have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 18 straight playoff games. So, XO, I come to you because, man, that one difference, if they can play to their strength today and stop the run, I feel like that is the key for them to win this game. What do you feel are the strengths of the Chiefs in this football game here tonight?
If I'm looking at Spags, he's telling his guys, look, we're not stopping the run today, okay? It's not happening. The offensive line is really, really good. Saquon Barkley is a really good player. We're not stopping the run today, but we need to force some very uncomfortable situations. We need to see Jalen Hurts in second and long.
Third
and long.
Yes, behind
Gotta
the
force
chains.
him to throw the
yes.
ball more than 25 times.
Then we can cover up some of the deficiencies in that secondary that we've kind of seen as of late from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hide 'em.
They've been a little leaky, you know what I mean? And I think that's the way you do it. You're not going to stop the run. We just got to kind of slow it down. You know what I mean?
Do you think the Eagles have that quarterback to capitalize on the leakiness that you're talking about? I don't think
Yes.
they have Jalen to be able to
Well,
force
hold
into
on,
those
hold
tight
on,
windows
hold on.
downfield.
Bro, he don't turn
Hold
the
on.
ball over like
I want to say no.
That's because he doesn't throw it
I
downfield.
want to say no
that's
so bad.
He has shots.
I want to say no with every ounce of my soul. But that boy played his ass off in that last Super Bowl.
all. Sure did.
He said, okay, I'll put it on my back. And he did. It surprised me.
I don't know if he said
think it's
okay and
surprised
actually
everybody.
threw it
That
on
was-
his
that was
back.
the first- that was
I
the
think
first day.
I think it just ended up there and he rose to the moment, but there's no he didn't say, you know what, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, that was the first time. I mean, even after the season that he had, that game was the first time I was like, okay,
He's a quarterback.
he's a quarterback.
Admit it.
I had to go back.
Boomer.
I had to go back on Twitter, now called X. I had to delete posts.
Yeah.
All
No,
right,
no,
like,
no,
I
no,
never
you
said
didn't.
that.
No,
you know what I mean?
no,
I
no,
never
no.
said that.
I don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
I had receipts for it.
No, seriously. I mean, what I saw last Super Bowl would make anyone optimistic about his chances of being able to do it. But if you want to complicate that situation, put him in second and long, put him in third and long, and I think that's the formula.
So what are the strengths for the Chiefs? What do the Chiefs have that are the strengths that are really going to be a problem?
It's
Well,
their
the
coaching
Eagles.
staff, man. It's their coaching and
I
the
love
game
that.
adjustments.
You were going to say that.
Yeah, because you
That's
didn't,
extremely
you
important.
didn't
in this
ask me
game.
that question like that. Because I think their strengths, though,
It's their
What's
coaching.
their strength?
is a little bit different than I think other people will say. There is not a combination of three interior offensive linemen that are better in the NFL. Now, I know we want to look at the Lions and say they're a better offensive line. The Eagles, they're a better offensive
Ravens?
line as a whole. The Ravens, they're a good offensive line. But the interior three, there's not a better interior three than the Kansas City Chiefs.
No
So-
one can hold better without getting caught.
So what they can do in the
I love
what
it.
they can do in the middle might be a little bit different than all the other teams have seen. Maybe you can slow down Jalen Carter and Milton Williams, and then now all of a sudden Brandon Graham is playing in this game. These guys got I'm talking about a buffet of pass rushers, a buffet,
Ball's gone though.
a regal buffet.
Eat
Ball's
great.
gone.
You know what I mean? So
Gotta
I
get
think
rid of
I
it.
think
Now.
Ball's gone.
I think
Now.
their strength is going to be masked by how good the Eagles are, but they're going to be able to slow down the Eagles a little bit better than I think most teams have. You know what I mean?
They
Because
should be able to.
that interior three is amazing.
Well, we're about to find
And it's
out.
going to get broken
We
up.
are.
We're
This,
about to
it's
find
going to
out.
get broken up this
Very
offseason too.
adjustments are very important in this game.
It's getting ready to get broken up this offseason too. So it's like kind of make or break. You know what I mean? We need to see. Y'all remember when we said Kansas City? I don't know if their offensive line is that good. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, they reloaded real fast.
They reloaded real fast. Well, guess what? Those contracts are running out this
Retooled.
offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If the Eagles break through, it's a wrap, bro. They're not going to be able to stop that run game. Period. So are you just relying on those three to be the X factors?
I'm relying
Or
on
the
those.
key?
I'm relying on.
That's-
I'm relying on those threes to be the X factor because if Mahomes is standing upright, then he's gonna Mahomes.
Yeah.
We're
so
almost,
we
to
gotta
the,
keep
we're
Mahomes off
almost
the
to the
field,
X
bro.
factors.
let me
It's
just
the Peyton,
let me.
it's
What
the
are the
Peyton
Chiefs'
Manning.
strengths
You got to
today?
keep him off the field to beat him.
So Chiefs'
Period.
strengths, you said most of them. The only one I had on mine that's different, you kind of were hinting at it right there. Not saying Jalen Hurts isn't a leader, but you have the leader at quarterback. You have the guy. So even if the defense doesn't do what they're supposed to, Mahomes is going to get the ball. You scored, Philly. That's great. Give it back to me.
Yeah.
Give it back to me.
Like you
Give it
said,
back to
they
me.
can't score 3.
Easily. Nope.
3, you
And
don't
they're
need
gonna
threes.
And
you
another
need
thing that we
touchdowns.
didn't mention, you mentioned coaches more deeply into that, the depth to that, is their discipline with their game plan.
Yeah.
The Chiefs will not, they have adjustments for the adjustments on top of the adjustments that they might have to make.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know if Philly has that because they have an identity. We're
Correct.
going to run the ball. We're going to pass it when the option gives it to, you know what I mean? And if they can run their game, the Chiefs have the ability to be like, okay, cool, we'll just have to do it as well. You know, we'll have to pace it as well and score. I see a lot of quick passes to negate that front line because that's part of the game plan. Mahomes is going to be standing upright. That's the goal. Don't get hit.
Right.
And I see that defensive line getting one or two. I
Well,
see
here-
them getting one or two.
we
Is
are-
that what that
folks,
sounds
hold.
like? Is that what that sounds like?
We're 15 minutes away from making our
Flag.
picks. We're, well, a little bit less than that. We're 15 minutes away from cutting off the air, getting ready to watch this game. Let's talk about weaknesses a little bit. Lauren, going to start with you because the Eagles have some weaknesses in my mind. They're ranked 31st in the NFL when it comes to passing the football. They've only had 9 games over 200 yards, including the playoffs. 1 game over 300 yards. So you guys can, oh boy, and moan and groan and tell me how
No,
great,
it's just me.
how great Jalen Hurts is.
Just me.
But when you tell me that they're ranked 31st in passing, I'm not giving Jalen a lot of credit. And then I think coaching. I don't believe in his coaching staff. And breaking news, Kellen Moore has accepted to be the new head coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Oh,
and it
boy.
breaks this morning,
Way
the
to go,
day that
kid.
you're going to coach in the
Yeah,
Super
wait
Bowl.
3
Same thing
days.
happened with
Way
the
to go, kid.
coordinators
Wait
in the
3
Super Bowl
days.
last time.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
And that,
hey.
that shook up the whole
So-
thing.
We
I
talked
think
about
that's
this.
crazy.
That's
So,
a very
Lauren,
good point, Tim.
I've given you
damn.
my
That's
weaknesses.
a good point, Tim.
I've
Great
given
point.
you my weaknesses for the Eagles.
That's a
that
good
I really
point.
can make a difference. Where are you at? What is weak for Philly?
Real simple. We've talked about Philly. I'll keep mine short and sweet. They need TDs, not threes. No,
Facts.
they can't have field goals. They got to score today. You're going up against Mahomes. He puts up touchdowns. Field goals are great. He likes him. He's cool with this kicker. Drama aside, cool. Put the ball through the post, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Secondly, as the defense goes in Philly, the offense will go. You can't run the ball if you're down 2 possessions, 3 possessions.
At all.
So if the defense is not doing what they need to do, making uncomfortable situations or making Mahomes have to do abnormal things or magical things, I don't see them winning this game.
All right. Where are the Eagles weak, Brandon?
Where they're weak. I don't really think there's any holes. I know you guys want to say Jalen
31st in
Hurts.
passing?
You want to say
That's-
Jalen
is
Hurts,
that a
but it's
strength?
the way the offense is constructed. Like, let's talk about the rushing offense. Where's that at?
Oh,
Top
it's
3,
it's
right?
up there.
Number 2.
Absolutely,
It's up there.
right? So sustaining
They can
drives,
run the ball.
converting third downs. This team
God
is
help
one of
them,
the
they get
number
behind
one
the
when
chains.
converting third downs. Obviously, it's Jalen Hurts. He's the biggest key in this thing. I think he has got to play perfect.
Okay.
He cannot have a fumble. He can't have turnovers. Pat Mahomes hasn't thrown a pick since November 17th.
Facts.
Right?
3
so
months.
the Eagles have got to create turnovers. 10 turnovers in the playoffs. So I think right now the biggest strength for them, their defensive line to get to Mahomes, man. And like you said, not threes.
No.
You got to have 7.
Those aren't good in this
You've
game.
got to score. You've got to turn the ball over. And you
Where-
got to sustain drives.
Where are the Eagles
Keep
weak?
Mahomes
Tim,
off the field, bro.
It's quite simple. You nailed it.
Oh.
You nailed this. Kellen Moore is getting ready to take the Saints job. All right, and we talked about this.
I mean, he's at home. He probably picked out a place to live this
look,
weekend
hey,
while he was there.
Hey, this
Uh-oh.
wasn't your normal coaching hire, right?
Right.
This was
This is
dragged on.
noise.
This was drug along for weeks and weeks. They were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Is it McCarthy? Is it Kellen Moore? They got so desperate they had to fly to Philly, right?
Just
Do you,
sign here.
do you
Just
know what
sign
Spags
here.
was doing? Spags had his feet up.
Watching film.
Sitting in front of film.
Man, I'm coming up with the same plan I done did the last 4-5 times, and Kellen Moore was preparing for the biggest job of his career.
100%. I agree.
That's their weakness.
That's why I brought it up.
Their weakness, Kellen Moore against, like I just said earlier, the
Steve
best coordinator
Spagnuolo.
of all time. Their weakness is their offensive coordinator, who I'm not so sure was ready for this game because he was trying to be the Saints coach.
Oh, boy.
I mean, they're gonna get film
Mic
off of.
drop.
When do you get film off of OCs? When do we talk about that? But he showed his stuff in the Chargers. He showed his things at the Cowboys. What Kellen Moore does is not a secret. It's not a
Agreed.
secret.
Not a secret.
Neither is Saquon though.
But,
so
brother,
hey,
if they can run that ball
Yes.
like they normally
Yes,
do,
I
it's
agree.
over. You can't stop that. They're going to suffocate
Well,
you. And Mahomes is going to sit
we'll
on the
see.
sideline,
Needless to
have
say-
3 possessions in the first half, and you're going to look up and it's 21
So
to
needless
7.
to say, Kellen Moore is neither one of y'all's X factors today.
Hell no.
So Brandon, if the Chiefs have a weakness to me, it's going to be in the secondary. I don't think that's going to be an issue for them today, based on the
I thought
fact
so as well.
that the Eagles are ranked 31st in passing.
And the receivers.
I also think you mentioned it earlier. I think if the Chiefs lose this game, it'll be because of the trenches. It'll be because
the trenches.
they weren't good enough. But XO makes a great point that the trenches for the Chiefs should be an X factor. So to me, if the Chiefs lose this game, it'll be because they got beat in the trenches. If the Chiefs lose this game to you, why? Why will they lose the game if they lose?
If the Chiefs lose, that run game open up.
So the trenches.
Yeah, it's the trenches. The run game opens up. I think you suffocate off the run, and then you keep Mahomes off the field, period. That's the only way you win this game. And you've got to get a turnover or two. Mahomes, like I said, Mahomes ain't turned the ball over in forever.
Don't say 2.
But
Just
he's
hope for 1.
He's capable of giving you a lollipop. Will you execute or not?
That's
Are you
true.
going to drop it?
You got to
That's
fool
true.
him.
Right. You got to
You gotta
fool him
trick
a little
him,
bit.
let him
You
know. As
have
soon as
to.
he
You
lets
gotta
it go,
take
he'll
advantage
know,
of those
damn, that's a big.
opportunities, and you cannot get 3 points off a turnover. You got to get 7. You got to keep the foot
I like
on the
that.
gas.
I like that.
You do that, it's a wrap.
Stephen, what is the weakness of this Chiefs team if they lose today?
Well, if they lose today, I mean, I know we want to talk about Mahomes, we want to talk about the coaches, but historically, they've had some pretty good rush performances in their Super Bowl runs. And it's not even by a yard standpoint. The running backs have just played pretty damn good. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think right now, the Eagles could go into this game and smother the Chiefs' run, where they get nothing. I mean, I see Isaiah Pacheco will do nothing today. Kareem Hunt is getting the start. It's going to take for him to have one of the best games he's had. They're going to have to run the ball. It can't just be Mahomes. If
Right.
Mahomes is dropping back all game, then you need to worry.
Running for his life like Tampa.
Yeah,
Remember that?
you're going to have to worry. If he's dropping back all game, then I do worry
Better
about
take a play out of it.
trenches.
I'll worry about how this can go. So I think they're going to have to be able to run the football, and I don't know if they
Trenches,
can.
man.
Lauren, what is the weakness for the Chiefs here today? If they lose, it'll be because
They're questionable at wide receiver.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. They have
Very
a vet,
concerned.
but he hasn't. Let's be real. Like what D-Hop's not out there catching all these types of crazy things, right? He's secure. I think they're questionable there. You have Worthy, who's going to get his touches, but they're not all pass catches. So Mahomes has done a lot this year, in my opinion, to make these receivers work. Not necessarily be good or bad, but he's making them work. And it's a lot harder because Kelsey does draw a lot of attention.
Yeah.
okay.
Kelsey draws a lot of attention. So these other guys, we've seen it all last year, but just catch the ball. Mahomes just needs you to catch the ball. Don't
Right.
worry about yards. Just catch the ball.
Catch the
and
ball.
Keep it
Get
running.
upfield,
You know what I
yep.
mean? Keep
Yeah.
it going. So that's what I got. And then I think the defense, they have to be in a bend and don't break.
Okay.
They're not going to come out here like they have been. So
Well, folks, here we are. We just got a few moments left. The game starts in about an hour and a half. We're here at
Start
Chop
to roll
Sports,
in here.
McKinney. Make sure this place is starting to get full, so if you want a seat, you better get down here. We're going to go around the horn now. I'm going to take the last stab at this, but I want to know who's going to win and who's going to be the X factor and why they're going to win. I'm going to start with you, XO. We'll go down the table this way. Who's the X factor and who wins and why?
I got the Chiefs, man. I mean, the three-peat, it's time. I think they're going to do it. I also think Mahomes is like laser focused right now. You know what I mean? Like ever since that parade where he was
he said
wasted,
it.
he said it.
He meant that
He
shit.
meant
gotta
that.
stand
you
on
know
it
what I mean?
now.
But I think the X factor of this game, y'all know me. I like to go outside the box. Y'all just talked about it. Y'all worried about the wide receiving core and what they can do. I think the X factor is going to be somebody who people might not talk about. I think it's going to be Hollywood Brown. I think if you want to go beat the Eagles, you need to be able to run past them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You said it earlier.
And I worry about D-Hop getting the separation that's needed. I worry about them blanketing Kelsey. I worry about Worthy being a little bit more of a gadget guy. I've seen some spurts where Hollywood Brown can take over a game, and I think this might be the game where Mahomes does have to air it out because they can't run it. He's going to have to rely on a pass catcher, and I think that might be Hollywood Brown today.
I like it.
Okay, Brandon, who do you got and why? Who's your X factor?
X factor is definitely going to be Mahomes.
Okay.
That's the ultimate X factor. I mean, you have a situation late in the game down by 7, he's got you, right? It doesn't matter what type of situation you're in. I think, me personally, they're just going to take advantage of what the aggressiveness of the Eagles do, right? They're going to try to blitz him. You can't blitz Mahomes. You have to just sit and let him pick you apart, right? But they're going to take an advantage
They can rush
over
for them.
turnovers.
They can rush for
Keep
it.
in mind, there may be a fumble. There may be a fumble.
There may
in the
be
rushing
one.
game by
You
the
never know.
Eagles. There may be one. And then Pat Mahomes gets to roll. But I got the Eagles in this one.
You got
Or
the
excuse
Eagles.
me, the Chiefs.
Oh, now you
My
got the
bad.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
The reverse.
He doesn't know.
Okay.
I
He
got the
doesn't know.
I think
No, I know. Because here's the thing, guys.
Reverse card.
It's a three-peat. You want to see greatness. You got to appreciate it,
Okay.
right? That's it.
Hey, Stephen, you didn't give me a score. Give me a score.
Ooh, score.
Do we need to come back to you?
No, I'm good.
All right, give me a score.
I'm good. 28-24.
Ooh.
Chiefs.
Okay.
Ooh.
34-31, Chiefs.
All right. We know who you're picking.
Yeah, we know who I'm
We
picking.
got the Mahomes jersey on.
Yeah, Mahomes is going to get 3 in a row. History's going to be made tonight. My X factor was actually DeAndre. I told you the receivers are don't know where that, but I got D-Hop catching a touchdown today. So I got D-Hop catching a touchdown, and I got Mahomes getting his 3 in a row. History's made. Sunset, like you said, no proposal from Kelsey.
No proposal.
And Chiefs win by 4, 31-27.
Wow. Okay.
I like it.
Well,
What do you got, Tim?
man, I think this is going to be a really close game. I think this could be one of those games in the first half where you think about changing the channel because it's starting to put you to sleep. You're like, where's the excitement? To be
Right.
like, 14-12 or 10-7 going
Please
into
don't.
halftime,
Please.
something like that.
Please
And we're going to get some explosion in the third quarter. We're going to get some in-game adjustments, and who does that better than Andy Reid and Coach Spags? And we're going to see the Chiefs pull away in the second half, and they're going to win this game by 2 scores in the fourth quarter. They're going to win this 34-24. The X factors are going to be 2 people. One is going to be defensively. It's going to be Chris Jones. He is going to swallow up not only Jalen Hurts, but Saquon Barkley. And then the other side is going to be James Worthy. Look for James Worthy early in the game to hit on a is that his name? I believe that's his first Xavier Worthy. I'm thinking of the
We ain't
Lakers.
talking about the Lakers.
I'm thinking
man.
of the
Showing-
Lakers.
showing
I'm
your
thinking of
age
the Lakers.
now.
Hold on, bro.
Lakers,
You're showing your
Show.
age.
Yeah, you
now.
showing your
I
age
am
now.
old.
Lake Show,
I
we're
am
back
old.
now. We're back.
Listen,
We're back
Xavier
now.
Worthy, look for him on a play action early where he crosses the field and gets deep behind one of these safeties, because I feel like you do that early and you hit that big play like they did against Buffalo early, that changes the way the Eagles are going to play defense, opens up the
Okay.
run game,
100%.
and that's going to be an X factor for me, is that speed. And folks, I got the Chiefs, so we got Chiefs.
So
Chiefs.
nobody has
Chiefs.
the Eagles.
Chiefs.
Great.
There's
Chiefs
gotta
are
be
gonna
an
win.
Eagles
Great.
somewhere.
Eagles are gonna
Does
win.
anybody here think the Eagles are going to win this game
Anybody.
today? Anybody? Give me a holler.
Anybody.
Eagles
Okay,
getting
okay,
their
they
lick
get
back.
their lick
There's a
back.
couple.
You're not
That's
getting
what
that
we
in
hear.
Cowboy
No,
country.
That's what we
nobody.
hear.
They're
That's what we
They're
hear.
not getting a Cowboys
Nah,
fan.
not getting
Yeah,
that.
we got a lot of
Cowboys at all.
Cowboy fans up in here. Well,
So
folks,
that just means the Eagles are going to win.
the Eagles are
man.
not going to win.
Great.
The tush push.
Who's stopping it, Jar?
3
I
yards
don't
and a
know.
cloud of dust. I like it.
They could just run that, I guess, for
So
60
the Eagles
minutes.
win
But
and Jalen Hurts is MVP and everybody just
Yeah.
looks at it. Sit on it.
if that happens, I'm going to
Yeah.
bed before the game's over.
If the Eagles win, if
That's a big if, but the panel just voted all
Saquon
for
would
it.
be MVP.
Yeah,
True,
they have to. That's
true.
the only way.
That's the only way.
That's the only
the
way.
only
So if that
way.
man goes out there and goes 22
no.
of 28,
No.
Saquon's got
315,
Sa-
4 TDs
he's
in
gotta
the air,
be-
2 on the
he's-
ground,
no.
and you're not going to give him
He's
the
got.
MVP?
Hey, he's
No.
got to be
No.
Iron Man. He's got to be
That's the
Iron
only.
Man.
That is the only
He's
way.
got to be Iron Man.
All right, man.
All right.
Understand.
Stephen,
Understand.
also known as XO. Brandon Newey, just known as Brandon Newey.
That
Just
guy.
new, man.
Yeah.
And,
Be
and,
new.
and Lauren Morales, the
Yeah.
magician. It's been fun.
Man.
It's been a great couple of
awesome.
weeks.
It was
I
fun.
love doing this season with you guys. This has been year 2 of the QB Huddle podcast. We've grown a lot.
Yeah.
We're here live on location, folks. I got word earlier today that we will be right back here for draft night. So be with us for draft night. We're going to be on the porch.
Oh, yeah.
Come to Chop Sports McKinney
Nice
so we
hub
can
up
see the Cowboys draft a punter in the first round, because that's what they'll do. But hey, thanks so much for showing up. That's going to do it for this week's edition and this season of the QB Huddle podcast. We want to thank New Era Media and Ninja Media for making the last 2 seasons possible. We want to thank the QB Huddle faithful who keep this show going week to week. For my partners, Brandon, Lauren, XO, enjoy Super Bowl 59. Until next time, keep those chains moving, folks.
Peace.